It's a blue morning show where the vibes are flowing, so fresh, so dope. Everything's about Chelsea, feel like pride. We repping our team, standing side by side. Win or lose, we carry that blue. Talk Chelsea, see Chelsea, it's all true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. In the stands we jump and sway, feel the beat. Got that rhythm in our hearts, can't take defeat. Every match we rise, watch the game unfold. Blue blood running deep, our story told. With every win we celebrate our crew. Chanting songs for Chelsea all day, it's true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. So the banners fly high under the sun. Every player on that field, together we run. With each kick we feel the passion ignite. For Chelsea our hearts shine forever bright. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. It's a blue morning show where the vibes are flowing, so fresh, so dope. Everything's about Chelsea, feel like pride. We repping our team, standing side by side. Win or lose, we carry that blue. Talk Chelsea, see Chelsea, it's all true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. In the stands we jump and sway, feel the beat. Got that rhythm in our hearts, can't take defeat. Every match we rise, watch the game unfold. Blue blood running deep, our story told. With every win we celebrate our crew. Chanting songs for Chelsea all day, it's true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. So the banners fly high under the sun. Every player on that field, together we run. With each kick we feel the passion ignite. For Chelsea our hearts shine forever bright. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. It's a blue morning show where the vibes are flowing, so fresh, so dope. Everything's about Chelsea, feel like pride. We repping our team, standing side by side. Win or lose, we carry that blue. Talk Chelsea, see Chelsea, it's all true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. the stands we jump and sway, feel the beat. Got that rhythm in our hearts, can't take defeat. Every match we rise, watch the game unfold. Blue blood running deep, our story told. With every win we celebrate our crew. Chanting songs for Chelsea all day, it's true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. So the banners fly high under the sun. Every player on that field, together we run. With each kick we feel the passion ignite. For Chelsea our hearts shine forever bright. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. It's a blue morning show where the vibes are flowing, so fresh, so low. Everything's about Chelsea, feel that pride. We're repping our team, standing side by side. Win or lose, we carry that blue. Cause Chelsea, see Chelsea, it's all true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. In the stands we jump and sway, feel the beat. Got that rhythm in our hearts, can't take defeat. Every match we rise, watch the game unfold. Blue blood running deep, our story told. With every win we celebrate our crew. Chanting songs for Chelsea all day, it's true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. So the banners fly high under the sun. Every player on that field, together we run. With each kick we feel the passion ignite. For Chelsea our hearts shine forever bright. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. It's a blue morning show where the vibes are flowing, so fresh, so low. Everything's about Chelsea, feel that pride. We're repping our team, standing side by side. Win or lose, we carry that blue. Cause Chelsea, see Chelsea, it's all true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud as the crowd. In the stands we jump and sway, feel the beat. Got that rhythm in our hearts, can't take defeat. Every match we rise, watch the game unfold. Blue blood running deep, our story told. With every win we celebrate our crew. Chanting songs for Chelsea all day, it's true. All them a cheer, them a cheer. Cheer, 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 loud, 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 no one. All them a cheer, them.
Yes, good people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome for another edition of the Blue Morning Show. Even though I am pain, I have to do the usual thing. Big up all of you. We're still breathing. Any day above ground is a good day. Yeah, I'm pained, still pained. Two consecutive games in a row. Lost games, yeah, you could both. We shouldn't lose. Honestly, it is very, very painful. But these things happen. We went through such you could say period or times under Enzo Maresca, under what's his name, Tom Stocco, a few of our managers. I think eventually we will. Would it be right to say come through? But that's by the way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. Once again, welcome to the Blue Morning Show. Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 1 on our own carpet. That's the most annoying aspect of the game. And we had no business losing that game. But we didn't really play like we want to win it. And the question I'm asking a lot of people that are saying that the manager should be gone. The question is, what you say? Have you looked at what he had to work with? Yeah, but that's by the way. Newcastle United won. Gordon puts a dent in hosts in our Champions League hopes. Yep. Chelsea failed to win at home for the fourth straight Premier League games as Anthony Gordon earned Newcastle United a 1-0 victory. It was painful, really. And I'm not sure what else to say about that game. It's happened. Hopefully, we get a win in our next game. Which we can. If we play like we want to win, we can get a win. But one thing I've said that I don't see happening will be us making it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I don't see that happening. I mean, never say never, but honestly, I said if we make it to the quarterfinals, then I'd do a $300 giveaway because it's not gonna happen. Something missing. Oh yeah, your likes. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. We are how many minutes into the show? 10 of which, yeah, 2 minutes into the show because 10 minutes. The intro, we're stuck at 5 likes. We should be doing a lot better than that. Why he didn't play Sa yesterday, we don't know. Until somebody asks him the question. But I'd rather Sa than Wesley Fofana. And I have to be honest with you, for reasons I've explained, I think he's more. He has again his of all the defenders we have, I think yeah, the ones that are starting, he's younger than them, less experienced maybe, but he is a very very intelligent player. He reads the game very very well, and he's a very good box defender too. And the two that we had on the pitch, centre backs we had on the pitch yesterday, they're not that good in defending the box. So maybe he didn't start, and who else didn't start? And Andrea Santos didn't start. I'm guessing both might start against PSG in the next game. But we'll see what happens. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. More likes. Yes, we still do beg for likes because we're not a big account yet, but we're getting there, and we appreciate all your support. We couldn't have done it alone. Press your screen for just about a second to see the like, comment options, the bells and whistles. That is if you're following the show in a vertical format. I think that has changed actually. You can double tap your screen to like the video, and if you're try it out, just try it out, but pay attention to the likes count. And if it increases by one, it simply means it captured your action. Let's get the likes up, people. The likes do go a long way. Drew, by the way, nice to see you, my bro. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. It's still 6:56 CSC my time. Yeah, Drew, thank you once again. I appreciate you. What we have Vic here saying, I'm not concerned Blue Co in and Rosenior for life. I think Rosenior, I wouldn't blame him. I'm not gonna blame him. I don't think anything he was, even if you don't like the setup, even if you feel like we could have done better had he, you could say, employed a different approach. It's important to take a look at what he had to work with. Yeah, we didn't actually have too many good options on the bench, so definitely squad depth is an issue. Or maybe if you feel like we have numbers, they're still, you can say, they're still raw. Then yeah, then let me rephrase it for you. Quality, you can say quality and depth is an issue. But Vic, my bro, nice to see you. Much love to you. What has happened to Cole Palmer? I think yesterday, actually, the only thing that didn't happen, I think he's looked fitter. He's looked much better than now he's looked in some of the games he's played in recent months. Maybe he looked better. The only thing he didn't do yesterday was score. Had he scored at least one goal, I think we'd be seeing, you could say, his performance differently. And it's that sort of game that had we been more clinical in front of goal, we'd be actually discussing the outcome, how we came back from a goal down and won. But yeah, the average football fan knows three things: a win, a draw, a loss. And whichever one emerges at the outcome, that's how they judge the game. That's why they talk about it. Don't look beyond it and look at numbers. And yeah, I don't blame them because I'm I'm not sure I'm not sure how to see that game. It was annoying. We were passive. Um, I don't know why. And I thought maybe yeah, Charity FC is no longer exists. It turns out Charity FC is well and truly in existence. Yes. What? I could not believe it, really. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. It is still 6:59 a.m. CST for me. Hey, Chama, how you doing now? I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. No, but I do hope you're doing well. More importantly, yeah, it's been a while. I thought maybe since yeah we host on date we yeah we've been streaming consistently in the evenings. I thought maybe would see you a lot, but yeah, haven't seen you in a while. But much love to you, Chama. Always nice to see you. So let's hear you. How are you feeling? What do you make of that performance on the day? Honestly, let's hear you. All right. Let's see. Let's look at what the numbers tell us. I don't want to look at beyond the numbers and try to say, you know what, we're just unlucky. No, I don't want to do that. We lost, two losses in a row could become losses in a row in a few days, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah, he says, I don't like the fans that only protest whenever we lose. Oh, yeah, that's very annoying. That's very annoying. And there are content creators that are like that. I remember a few days ago, I think um uh Rory, Rory Jennings, he had I think Matisse on, and they were discussing how our tactics against Aston Villa, how it was how well we did on the day, how it was the what makes it a big result because we beat them on their carpet. They were, I think, did sing the manager praises on the day. But yeah, we've lost to Newcastle United. Then yeah, everything now is the other direction. I mean, unfortunately, it is like that. A lot of Chelsea fans are like that. Honestly, if we start winning games now, you won't see some of them actually that are your friends. You're not going to see them talk to you until we lose a game. Then they come for their usual "I told you so." Unfortunately, not these days. Even most content creators don't speak objectively. They don't. Unfortunately, Chi, that is a new AI. This one learns faster than I don't think what's the other one? Nightbot doesn't have AI brain, but this one has AI brain. It learns about people. It says, "I see you coming in with the vibes." Coachella Alpha, I love it. Your ball knowledge is on another level. Yeah, okay. I don't know why he's singing Chichi all these praises. But yeah, let's say work is sector. I understand. I understand, Chi. Udo the league normal. Chelsea is exhausting. No lies. The lack of stability, you could say, it's a huge issue. If you truly love the club, I don't. Nobody enjoys, or you can say, the sort of situation we found ourselves in, and hopefully, it changes and changes real quick. Yeah. If you feel like it, enjoy yourself. I know you're trolling, but nice to see you there, Shanks. I do hope you're doing well. We lack confidence. Kunle Kuku, nice to see you. Ekubadu Egbon. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. And he says, we lack confidence, responsibility, and trust in our defense. We need at least one experienced defender and a goalkeeper. I am comfortable with the midfield and attack. Yeah, right mentality will save this season. I think I'm going to say this. I haven't changed my mind, irrespective of what's happening right now. We are two CBs away, two good CB signings away to, you said, being ready. Yeah, to challenge for the title next season. Even when we were second at the start of the season, some people thought, yeah, we're going to challenge. I think one of my friends on the panel here, and I told him, no, it's not going to happen, not right now, maybe next season. So for me, we don't need too many signings, actually. We don't need too many signings. Two CBs will be challenging, but if we can get left sign players for the left hand side, I think we'll be all right. All right, let's see. Drew says, I just don't like the side the side to side aspect yesterday. Yeah, because they were defending deep, and if we're telling ourselves the truth, we're not properly equipped to deal with teams that defend deep. Because the solution isn't really just passing the ball around and try to find space to exploit and all that. If you have excellent dribblers on the pitch like Estavo, who can take on players whether they're space or not, he will force you to come at him and then beat you comfortably. You can say out of 10 attempts, at least he'd get you can say he displaced the opposition players in seven attempts. So we don't have too many players who are capable of doing that. Or there are other ways. Putting you can say spamming the box with spanning the box with crosses and overloading there, and you can say making sure we have a crowded. But sometimes in those cases, you're just trying your luck. But yeah, if you don't buy tickets, you're never gonna win a lottery. I'm gonna start reading your comment before you do here. It's true, but that's by the way. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way, and I have the captain of the community on the panel with me, and Constantine Dante. Big up to you, Dante. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, big up, coach. Everyone in the chat. Yeah, good. I was sleeping. I fell asleep early and just woke up, and I'm like, let's check if he's on just in case. And lucky I did because you are. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we didn't do a show yesterday because I wasn't feeling well. I explained it to you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, you had a bit
And
of a headache. Yeah.
I wanted us to do a post game show, but even pre game show actually that what I was scheduled for morning or for the morning, but I couldn't. I actually didn't wake up. Even if I did wake up at the time, I wouldn't have.
That's fine. It's all
Yeah,
good.
but that's by the way. How are you doing? Did you watch the game?
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, disappointing, obviously, to lose. And yeah, look, we created some good chances, unfortunately, but didn't take them again. Yeah, look, Newcastle really had a game plan. They followed it. They decided to go to a nasty low block after they scored. So they really didn't create hardly anything during the game, especially that first half. That one chance, and they scored. So yeah, disappointing that we couldn't break them down. But yeah, very, very interesting game plan from Newcastle. They don't usually do that. So, they play quite open, and usually we do pretty well against teams like that. But they had a plan, they executed it, and they decided to go with a nasty low block, and it worked for them.
Why
So
wouldn't they? They've been losing games.
yeah, yeah. So they changed their approach. Yeah.
So they,
So
they changed it to win a game, and we couldn't. You can say it did come across as if we were started. We were short of ideas, not too sure how to approach that, and the manager on the bench didn't have too many options.
there's not many options. With basically Neto out, Estevao out, Gittins obviously. Even though people say, oh, they're not, Gittins, Estevao and Neto are very important. So yeah, look, we didn't have any attacking options, unfortunately. So I think Newcastle knew that. I think that was always the plan. If they were going to score first, they're just going to defend. And they went into that nasty low block with 11 players behind the ball, and we couldn't break them down enough. We still broke them down a few times,
But yeah,
unlucky a
we
couple of
fluffed
times.
our chances.
Yeah, we had the chance to score, but unfortunately, with not many options in that crowded box, it wasn't easy to break them down. And teams know this, so they know we're struggling up. We don't have those players, so you got to give them a little bit of credit, I guess, because they don't normally play that way. So they did what they had to do so to get a win. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, when it's not going your way, it's just not going your way from the start with the referee in the center circle. From that, even the penalty. I mean, that was for me. The penalty was a clear
No,
penalty. We
in
should have
my
had a
opinion, that was a
penalty.
penalty. I'm not sure what happened there. Look, I'm not an expert when it comes to the rules, but I thought that was a penalty. But yeah, who am
There's
I?
no. You don't need to be an expert when there's contact. He hit him on the side of his ankle, and it's contact. He went down. You can see the by the reaction of Voltemade putting his hands up and wiggling his fingers. That's just a nervous reaction. That shows that he's guilty, basically. So, I mean, I have no idea how they didn't give that, to be honest. But when you saw from the start with the referee not getting out of the circle to let us do our huddle, that told you
Yeah,
quite a
but what
lot.
was that for?
They're being trying
What
to
was
stamp his
that for? And
authority,
I
basically.
get it. It's funny now, us doing our huddle in the center circle. It's funny now because we're not doing well, and of course, when you're in
Exactly. Yeah,
such
yeah.
a, you can say, a bad run of form, everything becomes funny to the fans. And I'm shocked that if Chelsea fans, if you don't know football, I think it's important that you just shut up, because the truth remains, if you see, it's called ritual.
Yeah,
And
it's just something.
there are
Yeah,
footballers that do the weirdest of things before games start.
there is absolutely nothing wrong with a huddle. The
Nothing
referee
wrong
should
with it.
not be there. It's not in any
It's
rule
just
book.
that probably maybe what was the last team we played against? Maybe they complained, and then the FA felt like they have to do something about it. It just doesn't make sense. It makes it, you can say, it turns it into a drama unnecessarily, in my opinion. But go ahead, what you're saying. I
It does,
apologize.
coach. Yeah, look, and it's not right because you're allowed to do that. The referee should not be getting in the way of that. To be honest, I have no idea. Obviously, it was a directive from. He knew they were going to do it, and they decided to clamp down on it. But I have no idea why. It's not illegal. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not, offensive to the opposition team. It's absolutely nothing before a kickoff. So yeah, I don't get it. What I do get, the refs from there, he started against Chelsea and he continued in the game because some of the calls, the yellow cards, and especially the penalty. I mean, come on, you couldn't be more obvious, to be honest. So yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look from the referee, to be honest, and the FA for doing
It
that.
doesn't. It just make it like, yeah, like a kids stuff. But that's, by the way. Let's see, what do we have here? Wira says Judge
Even the
doesn't take.
fine. Oh, sorry, coach. Yeah, even the fine on Neto. Why are they getting involved in that?
That one didn't make sense, really. Yeah,
Why are they getting involved in UEFA, like as in in the Champions League? Why? Like,
I
what did he
don't
do
know,
that
really.
wrong? He didn't do
Yeah,
anything that wrong, to be honest.
yeah. Judge doesn't take his man on. I thought you agreed with Rosenior approving of all others before him. You're just making shit up just to get my attention. Now that's what I'm gonna say to you. Yeah, the only thing I remember saying was that Judge would definitely leave because, yeah, he's not been playing. So I'm not sure where you're getting that from. I get that a Judge lacks a physicality, but that's almost negligible when you see Garnacho taking his place. I'm not sure who took his place because all at the time when I've seen him play, it was always on the right hand side. So I'm not sure whether you can say Garnacho, whether he's a direct replacement for George. I liked George, and we talked about how I think it was him. I liked him. I'd rather see him on the pitch at the time over Madueke. If you ask people, you can say the OG said, they will tell you. So I'm not sure why you came in with violence this morning. Just all right. Let's see. Chelsea giving a Coachella headaches. No, no. I've. You could say I'm a seasoned host. It was before I became a content creator. Chelsea losing can ruin my whole week. But I think I've conditioned myself to be able to deal with it and focus on, you can say, rewatching games and trying to figure out what really happened here. The ones that I can rewatch. I don't rewatch every game, or the ones that I feel like I need to rewatch. So what I do at the time, I've said this 1,000 times here. What I do, but yeah, but you can say you're right to a certain extent. If they lose, usually, it doesn't help with the mood. What I do at the time, before I became a content creator, if we lose, I delete all sporting apps on my device so I don't get notification about Chelsea until maybe we start winning again. Then I'll start installing them, reinstalling them, so to speak. So yeah, but yeah, it makes sense. If you truly love the club, you'd be pained if you say if we're not doing well. Why? Okay, yeah, just present an answer for those the poll. I was experimenting with something. It didn't really work. John Terry scored 67 goals in total for Chelsea. 41 of those are in the Premier League. Nice to have you here once again, Akim. So tell us if you found a girlfriend. You told us you were looking for one. We want to know. Let's see, what else do we have here? With created chances, they hardly created anything. Still praising chance creation in home games while expecting patchy up from Newcastle to come at us or on our home. Let's talk about this. You don't have to create 10,000 tons to win. Can you go look at that game against PSG? Against PSG, they won on the day. They won convincingly. But we had XG of 1 point something. They didn't even hit one. So it's important to mention. That's why we're here to talk about the game. We did create good enough chances, but didn't take them. It's really as simple as that. Yeah, I get it. There's an aspect that we don't have quality in depth. That's a huge problem. The manager didn't have a lot to work with. Estevao wasn't available for selection. Gittins wasn't also available for selection. I think both would have made a difference. Both are actually some of, you can say, two of the best dribblers we have, irrespective of what you think of Gittins. His record speaks for him. But he wasn't available for selection, or was he even on the bench? Remind me. I want to know. So yeah, let's see. I'm not gonna read that really. Let's see, what else do we have here. To me, yeah, that Parma stuff was a pen. It was really, really a pen. Irrespective of whether I think we didn't deserve to win, but that was a pen, really, and they didn't give it. Did he punish Palmer? Like, did he? No, he didn't. Like with the yellow card. Since if it wasn't a pen, then Palmer definitely dived. Why not? Yeah, punish him. But he didn't. Except if he did, and I didn't see it. Kimso says nothing is going our way this season, 22-23, all over again. Might be. Ref gave him a Caicedo yellow card for winning a ball. Yeah, he won the ball clearly. How that happened, I don't know. And Chelsea, some big accounts, it's important to discuss the game, to discuss why we lost, to discuss what we need to do to become a much better team. But at the same time, they almost always never talk about bad officiating. We didn't deserve to win. I get it. But the biggest accounts we have hardly ever talk about bad officiating. And it works. If you talk about it, the FA will take note. I know they won't come publicly and say, yeah, that was a mistake. But at least it put pressure on them to do something, you can say, to maybe caution the referees to do well next time. But unfortunately, they don't. They will be there and you say farming engagement, looking for clicks more importantly, and hardly ever speaks objectively about situations. It says, be clear, Newcastle went down to 10 men and we suddenly reverted to horseshoe football or overused tactic to try and disengage opposition structure that has failed multiple times. Here's the thing, irrespective of how you put it or what you can say technical language you use, I am not blaming Rosenior for that loss. Here's the list of our problems. Just like we said here, the early days of Maresca as Chelsea manager, when people actually busy screaming Maresca out. But yeah, he ended up winning us 2 trophies, and some of the content, big content creators made public apologies. But yeah, okay. But you entitled to what you have to say. I will read it, interact with you, but you can't force me to start blaming the manager for the loss. I will not. Same way I told people Enzo Maresca was the least of our problem. I'm still saying it now. The squad is the issue, irrespective of the how you want to see it. You're entitled to do that. Let's see. Drew says Judge has done nothing at Everton. Yeah, either, but I don't want to start comparing his time at Everton to his time at Chelsea. I would have loved him to stay, but he wanted to leave. He wasn't pushed out. Does it matter getting top four? You get knocked out in the Champions League. Why get emotional if you already know our destiny is to repeat the previous season? Don't get mad, enjoy life, people. Okay, keep advising people, but I'm not going to read another advice. You said that Everton. No, I didn't say you are. I said what I said is whenever you say you come here and start saying we're gonna lose a game, we usually win. And when you turned and said we're gonna beat PSG, that I told you stop it. I don't like it. That is just you can say that's you can say belief now, not necessarily or anything scientific or anything factual. You know that. And that's how we roll. We joke around, but yeah, in all again, to be honest, every time you said we win, we lose. Every time you said we lose, we win. And eventually you came around to saying we're gonna beat PSG and we ended up losing. Yeah, because you felt like okay, you need to you can say refresh whatever you're saying to make me happy, and I told you don't, that I we don't have to agree, and you know that's how I operate. If we all agree, I'm not going to be comfortable talking because I'd sense that something is definitely wrong. The setback, why are you expecting all traveling teams to get in our face? Who told you? Can you stop putting words into people's mouth? We're discussing what we experienced watching the game, and why you trying to say who told you we expect them to come at us? We said yeah, good tactics, and it worked for them. Uh, you're talking about a Newcastle side who had the stress of a KG Barcelona affair 48 hours. We know, and we talked about how they hadn't won for a while and needed to do something to win. It's okay. A win is a win. We're just discussing the game, Wera. Why do you 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 came with violence this morning? Big up to you, Spots Rant and Bands. Always nice to see you, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. He said, Coach, what was wrong in your eyes with Santos and Caicedo pivot and James and Kuku fix as our fullbacks? James in midfield wasn't careful though. Look, I didn't like James playing in the midfield. He again had Santos been the one in the position where James was yesterday, I don't think he would have read the game better. There are other aspects of James's games when he is deployed in the midfield that you can say that are good, but the downside is his ability to protect the defensive line doesn't do that effectively, and that's my opinion. Big up to you. Um, all right, let's see what else do we have here. All right. Big up to you, Tobeho. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. Thank you. And Rosenior keeps saying he's learning about the group of his players every day. Yet start James midfield 2 games in a row, despite seeing the outcome not being fruitful the first time. Against PSG, was Rhys James playing in the midfield really an issue? Maybe I'd have to watch it again. But despite the way, we have Bobby on the panel here. Let's hear you, Bobby. Big up and thank you for finding the time to join the conversation. Your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, big up, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big up, Bobby.
yeah. My thoughts actually go beyond the game.
Hmm.
It's I always look at the bigger picture, the overall picture, and at the
Okay.
moment, I'm trying to digest in my mind and fully understand why Chelsea has always been a target. So much so that it even became the target of the UK government just to destroy the club. I think it wasn't just about the owner. I think some people are fans who deliberately wanted to destroy and dismantle the club. They're still doing it. It happens with match officials, it happens with media, it happens with the infiltrated fan base that always push for the weakening of our teams. And the overall problem is quite bizarre. It's outside of the football pitch. In as much as it is inside the football pitch, I think what we're seeing on the pitch is only a symptom of the disease. It's far bigger than that. And what I'm trying to understand is what is it about Chelsea that has this sort of witch hunt on them? And it's clear, I look at the fan base, or well, what some of the fan base, some of the things people are saying. I look at the media anti-Chelsea bias. I look at the match officials, and even what the government did to the club. It's a little too much. We have an ownership that, well, you can say they're trying, but they're making they have made mistakes, and they will make mistakes because you're trying to deal with a huge enterprise and navigate them to the top of a mountain in a way that sidesteps all the not mines put in their path. By the mines, I mean every single one of these regulations that you can think of in football, English football, European football, has all been targeted at Chelsea. And I don't say this lightly. None of these regulations, PSR, FFP, the new European standards that nobody fully understands, it's all targeted at Chelsea. It's at least the genesis or the beginning of them was Chelsea. It's extraordinary. You see a situation like the foul on Cole Palmer against Everton, and the referee blatantly ignores it. And then you look at what happened in the game between Arsenal and Leverkusen, where Noni Madueke clearly dives, and a penalty is given. I mean, you really get disillusioned by a lot of the uh, the
Officiating.
agendas, the
Okay, agenda.
agendas in football. That's what exhausts me. Now I look now what's happening on the pitch. It's quite clear. I think Liam Rosenior, to some extent, I wouldn't like to, because I posted something asking if he was out of his depth, and you adamantly said no. Okay, but I think he is in a position where starting to take over the reins where he did with the problems he has is highlighting the errors he's making. The issue with the goalkeepers in the Champions League was a clear blunder. I saw it was going to happen, but it was a clear blunder. The issue with in this game playing Reece James in midfield where he didn't have to, and that's what led to the goal because he wasn't at sync with his centre backs. You need a proper defensive midfielder Why he didn't try Esugo again if he must do that?
And we have a
Um,
few.
Santos, if he must do that. Even Lavia for some minutes. He just puts someone who for that sort of game
I think
where a
Lavia is the
team.
same thing. And I don't think he would have
Well,
read that game, that
yeah,
aspect of
Lavia
that game. But
Lavia
yeah,
probably wouldn't have read that
hmm
that sort of thing, but someone like perhaps Santos and
Esugo.
Sugo might have. You just wonder. You really do wonder. Reece James, yes, he's probably Chelsea's, I believe, best player. But you play him out of position to a point. He's very versatile, but to a point. That was not necessary and it's costly. And then the fact that the forward line is so impotent, reason being down to the investment made in the summer. You've brought in your likes of Garnacho, you've brought in your likes of Gittens and spent in excess of 90 million pounds on players that are not good enough. You just wonder as to the planning and the forward thinking. There was a clamor to get rid of a lethal finisher like Nkunku. I was never on that train. Oh, this Nkunku should go, and Nkunku wants to go, and all that. Of course, he'll want to go if you don't want him. Then you get rid of Noni Madueke and bring in. Okay, fine, it's okay. Get rid of Noni Madueke, but look at what you brought in. Now we're relying on an 18-year-old from Brazil who's having his first season in this country, not to mention in the Premier League, to be one of our saviors on the wings. The whole thing, in terms of the planning, in terms of the execution, is is disturbing. And right now, I think, as far as the playing situation is concerned, we may have to find ourselves yet again going back to square one outside of Champions League football and so on, and rebuilding again with this manager because I don't know where else to really go with this plan. Another deep concern I have is the 350 odd million financial loss, which has been declared. I'm not really sure how that is. I'm not really, after they sold so many things, I'm not sure the accuracy of that. The club themselves seem to think that's not an issue. I don't
I think
know,
that that's a regulatory accounting thing, not that
Yeah.
much of an issue. And perhaps
Yeah.
the one thing is
Well,
certain:
I
if I'm not going to listen to anybody that tells me that they didn't know that was coming. They knew
well,
when they were
they
spending
knew
that
out.
money. They knew, and they are prepared about it. I don't think it will have any, in my opinion, negative impact on
Yeah,
the
I mean,
club's finances. On any These things
I
happen.
don't want
It's
to
just that
focus.
we happen to be, like you said, the club with the highest
I
amount.
I don't want to sort of focus on that. I mentioned it in the sphere
Hmm
of the fact that there is uncertainty. It's a hard thing to take, and yet at the same time, this squad has a lot of very gifted players. But the fact is that the goalposts of football has shifted so much that we don't have 11 gifted players, but we have at least 9 or 8 or 9. And you cannot not have squad depth. We need to change the goalkeeping situation. My suggestion is quite frankly this: Philip Jorgensen needs to be sold or loaned. We need to bring back Penders to compete with Sanchez going forward. The left situation, some tough decisions have to be made. Squad depth is very, very bad. Physicality is very, very bad. I don't know what fantasy island these guys live in to think that you can play in the Premier League with that level of lack of physicality. Physicality is crucial, but Chelsea and their fans always get rid of physicality. I'm already hearing the clamoring of, "Oh, get rid of Liam Delap, get rid of Liam Delap." For who? Then they'll go and find some midget to put in his place, and things will get 10 times worse. If you don't address your physicality, you will be in trouble. Arsenal have understood that. Man City have understood that. Villa, Liverpool, everybody, Newcastle, but Chelsea. Chelsea think they can play with all these little dainty guys on the field in the Premier League and get away with it. You're just going to be bulldozed over out of the way. Another ridiculous thing is I don't understand this idea of trying to play possession football with players that cannot play possession football. You're playing the ball sideways. Liam Rosenior is worse than Maresca. All this playing out from the back. Oh, we've got to play out from the back. You saw what happened to Jorgensen. You see what happens to Sanchez. You know that if you play, sometimes you have to go route one. That is just the nature of the game. You've got to bypass the midfield. PSG were laughing at what they came up against. A team that was just impotent and playing completely into their hands. I don't buy this, oh, we played well for 70 minutes. No, we didn't. We didn't. The ball could have been hoofed into space, and we never did that. And yet again,
Bobby, can
against,
I say something quickly?
yeah,
Against PSG, if you go with that approach of hoofing the ball into space, they could have scored 10 on the day.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
How?
you think if you play the same way Maresca played at the Club World Cup final, you get them? They already know the reason why we beat them on the day was that we were able to exploit the spaces they leaving behind to a T. We were still able to exploit the spaces on that day
Exactly.
also.
Exactly. And you think the goals that we conceded wasn't down to all this let's play out from the back?
It was
PSG
clearly
were
it was.
made for
You
that.
can say clearly one of them clearly was.
They're made for that pressing. And the rest was lousy goalkeeper, like the goal scored by Granov Scalia. And yeah, it was a shot, but we know he shoots. One, he wasn't closed down. Two, that shot was savable. But I digress. You know, it came close to Jorgensen's hand, but he let it through. You know, I digress. You know, Newcastle, we know you give them the opportunity to score and they will low block. It is a standard tactic of the Premier League. And when have we ever broken down a low block by passing backwards, sideways, going nowhere, doing everything in front of their defenders? What you do is you penetrate. If you cannot pass quickly and do quick 1-2s and get in, you bulldoze your way through with a couple of tough guys or strong guys up front. We do none of those things, so we get nowhere. So on the pitch, there's that tactical problem that is just an expression of the overall bigger problems that this club faces at the moment. What the solution is, I know the temporary solutions, but the overall solutions like the officials, the government, the Premier League, the legislation they come up with, I think it's a bigger matter. And I'm not sure that there is an immediate answer to that because when you have a system that is constantly built to try and destroy you, it takes a lot to get out of that situation, if ever you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate you. Happy to have you back on the panel again because yeah, this is date. It's still daytime for you, right? And Tiboha, let me say this. I know you followed football long enough, and we've always told people here in football, 1+1 doesn't always equal two. And as I always told people also, if we're playing teams that are struggling, that's when I get concerned. And I think you could argue part of it a mentality thing, part of it In this case, Newcastle wanted a result, and they played like they wanted one. They weren't
Oh,
gonna
so,
risk.
sorry. Let me just interrupt you for
Mhm,
just one quick thing. You know why you get concerned when we play a lower team? Because
mhm.
part of you knows, you may not admit it to yourself, but part of you knows that we don't have the physicality. We don't have that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're
another
going to be
aspect.
beaten
Yeah,
up.
they bully us in most cases. Yeah, I agree. So part of it, a mental thing for the young squad we have. Take games for granted. After all, this team, they've lost like 6 games in a row. We're gonna make it 7, but that's just my opinion anyway. They defend deep, and Newcastle usually don't play like that, but they wanted that result, and they came with a plan to sit back, find space, and hit us on a break. Even when they got that goal, actually, you can say, if anybody tells me that they'd be able to create a chance from the way they played, it was like we were, you can say, we were just watching them, and you can say trying to figure out what they're gonna do with the ball. It was just 2 passes from the final third. I don't want to start talking about all the things that happened before we consider that goal, but we will get to that in a bit. Let's see. How did we lose? Yeah, but I was saying 1+1 in football doesn't all you don't always get to when you when you do that. The game, once the man in the middle blows the whistle, everything becomes fluid, and that's why we have what's called underdogs. Um, Look, I've said this before. I think Charity FC is well and truly in existence. Yeah, let's see what happens. What do we have here? Let's see, Coach. I am trying not to ridicule Enzo and Palmer coexisting in the same attack, but if I cannot pick up Rosenior for the lineup choices, then uh, which is which? Up to you. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm waiting for your opinion. But what I'm trying to say, please don't put words in my mouth. Don't start accusing me unnecessarily. Let's hear your thoughts. Since you don't like those two on the pitch and on the day, especially yesterday, who do you think the manager had available at his disposal and he didn't select that person? Let's hear you. Well, it'd be interesting to see who you're gonna mention. You can get more out of Reason in the midfield. He's too good to play fullback. That role is wasted on him. Let's see what else we have here. Whether we like it or not, this team is immature. This team is immature in collecting reckless yellows of dissent repeatedly, and plenty of red cards might have created bias and already biased minded referees. Unfortunate reputation. Reputation, we've talked about that before. High reputation can lead for a player, you could say, that has a bad record already. You can say the slightest, even sometimes when he's done nothing wrong, you get punished because you have the referees have conceived, what's the word I'm looking for, um, mindset or maybe about that particular individual. In the case of Caicedo, probably that was the reason why the referee gave him a yellow card. He won the ball clearly, and I don't think his foot actually touched the opposition player.
I don't buy
But
that, coach. I don't. They're looking for the excuse. You cannot
exactly,
be that unprofessional that because a player you don't like is touching the ball, that means you have to give him an unjust call. No, I don't accept that
it's just
excuse.
the mind. It's just like how is do I explain this? You have a preconceived notion about something. Sometimes because the brain, if you don't train your brain very well, sometimes it forces you into not even looking at something correctly and giving you a false information. And because the start of, you can say, something you're reading, for instance, sometimes your brain will not allow you to read it through, except if you're preparing for an exam. In most cases, you just assume, okay, I already know what's next, and you, without reading through what's before you, you conclude that it's a certain thing when it's in fact it's not that thing exactly. That's why I'm saying that these things can happen, but as I think I'm inclined to believe, yeah, it's on papers. So I'm with you. So let's see. Yeah, I get the point there. You've made an excellent point. But that point needs, like you can say, it's a delicious comment. So let's celebrate it here. With yeah, let's do fireworks for you. All right, but keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go on. We appreciate you all finding the time to join the conversation this particular morning. It's 7:42 a.m. CST. Bad day for us, but yeah, any day above ground, more importantly, is a good day. Now the fake Philip Jorgensen injury, I think it's a mental thing. That's you could argue the same situation as that of Hato when he had that horrendous outing against Karabag away. The way he left the pitch on the day, I suspected probably it would take a while before we see him. I hope not too long because he is our second best goalkeeper in case anything happens to Sanchez, and I pray nothing happens to him. Yeah, saying Ty, up big to you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation, and I do hope you're doing well. I'm going to be highlighting a lot of your comments here. I know you guys have a lot to say. Our producer, he hasn't started work yet. Hopefully, he starts soon. He will help highlight comments that are aligned to make it a lot easier for the host. But that's why when we have Jay on the panel. Jay, big up to you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. Your thoughts? Let's hear you.
Big up, guys.
Big up, Jay.
Big up the
Thank you for
people in the
joining.
chat.
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm fine. Hope the same for you and to everyone.
Excellent. I can't
Yeah,
complain.
doomsday, man. It's a doomsday, and all doom and gloom with Chelsea, and it's another weekend and another match where it continues, to some different magnitude. Another poor match, another boring match. Again, repeated issues being seen through this team. The defense, again, the talking point after every match where we drop points. It's the defense mainly where we are, discussing the problems. And very, very, with the time that have passed, we were talking about the guys that were on the bench, that is Tosin, Badiashile, and some other defenders, But
There
now
was.
we can clearly see that the problem doesn't really stops there. The ones that we thought were maybe not world class, but to a certain level and standard, the likes of Chalobah and Fofana, they have been showing their problems and their loopholes here and there in different matches in the recent times as well, and the most recent being Fofana. So yeah, that is a clear failure of recruitment. And I heard a thing about Fofana that the best thing that happened to him was the injury at Chelsea, because that kept people in in shadow that he's a good player, because it didn't allow him to play so we could actually see that how good of a player he is. But now that he's playing, we are seeing how limited of a player he is, and whether it's mentality, whether it's tactical, I don't know. Even his skill set seems like he's very much limited. And yeah, that goal that I saw last night was one of the worst goal that I've seen in recent history with the Chelsea Football Club, and that is a thing, because we see awful goals uh, every time. But yeah, that will go, quite high in that list of worst goals to ever concede. Um, yeah, look,
That that
you
that
talked
that
about
that that I was so mad. Let me keep it clean. He took
exactly.
two
I was so
passes.
mad.
Two
Exactly.
passes. And we had like six players still back there, and they couldn't. You could say, I don't know, I coordinate appropriately. You don't need to speak actually. I mean, I'm not sure how to read that, but go ahead, Jay.
I don't know. Even Reece James as well, I think he was at fault, to some part in that goal. Obviously, he's got that contract thing. I'm sure that must be in his head. He wants to be more up on the pitch and try to get some goal and assist. We also saw that ambition in terms of the free kicks that he was taking instead of Cole Palmer. Nothing wrong in that, but yeah, I'm sure that was a thing because he was also positionally, in error. to that goal because I think it's the DM or the double pivot. One of the guys will go back and be the central defender when the two center backs goes wide, and I think that is where the gap was. And then obviously the glaring issue that we are talking about, Fofana. How can you be so slow? What is your duty? Reece James is at least trying to get to the other player, and then uh, Anthony Gordon, who is quite behind him. He makes a sprint and he just goes past
Outrun
him.
him.
Uh, Yeah, and there is no awareness. Even after, seeing him go, he doesn't make an effort.
Let's just say
He-
this quickly. That got me so mad that I started saying maybe we'd actually be better off playing Yuri Hato as a centre back because he can fulfill that role. I get it. Height is an issue, but his recovery pace
yeah,
is next to none in the Premier League.
yeah. Even Sar and Etchimpong, these guys are young and maybe
Even
tactically
Achempong has a
limited,
good
but at least,
recovery pace. Yep. If we had
yeah, at
Achempong,
least
if Achempong was in Fofana's position, I think I don't think Gordon would get a chance like that.
exactly. I can guarantee that if it was Sar or Etchimpong or even Hato, I can guarantee that he would not let them, go past him. Maybe there is a chance that they will make a reckless foul on him and there is a chance of penalty, but there is no chance that these guys will let or allow the player, that is Gordon, to run past him and sprint like that. So yeah, so bad by Fofana. I don't know where the priorities lies of some of these guys. At one time, we are seeing you, crying over a semi-final of Carabao Cup because you couldn't reach a final and try to win a trophy. And then in games like this, which is very crucial for our fight for the Champions League, you are totally sleeping, and it doesn't feel like you have any problems at all. So yeah, very very disappointing. But then again, the main issues is not really the team, performing on the pitch or the manager. I have issues with the manager for sure. I think. He has been naive in the few games. But then again, it will be unfair to talk about him. You talked, coach. You started your argument by saying that the manager is the least of our issues. Bobby even started his argument by saying that there are wider issues and deeper problems that I want to talk rather than the game.
I mean,
And
you know why I say that? Because the situation we're going through now doesn't differ that much from the same thing we went through under Enzo Maresca. That was a period when people were calling for him to be fired, and we were defending him, mentioning we had bigger problems than him at the time. But look, this guy now, the only thing I'd say, just quickly, if you don't mind, Jay, I
yeah,
apologize
sure,
sincerely for
sure,
cutting you
sure,
off. The only thing I'd
sure.
say now, just simplify things. Don't don't you can say I think it'd be accurate to say he shouldn't take drastic measures. Don't be in a hurry to implement your style. I don't think we're well equipped to play it to the measure. You can say his approach, talk about playing out from the back, his is crazy because his
Yeah,
involves baiting, which means we'll be taking a lot of risks. And I don't think we're well equipped to do that right now, except for Sa. Sa Achampong is also good on the ball on his day. Tosin, yeah, of course, we know his problems. The way we play, he will be exposed. You basically need to change the system to conduce Tosin's, you could say, shortcomings. So he should just simplify things. Go back, keep it simple. Go back to the basics. Tactically, I think he's good, but I think his arrogance, driven, you can say, by his belief in his ability to prove that he's one of the best coaches that can play you can say the most beautiful football in the Premier League, or attractive or control. That's what's going to cause him a lot of problems, and that's a pattern now. This season, all the teams that you can say that play beautiful football, they're all struggling to win games. And I was always concerned that you can say my biggest concern before he became our manager is, you can say, lack of pragmatic mindset. Even though since he's joined us, he's proven that yeah, he can be pragmatic. But all of a sudden, I think he's become, you could say, he's taking drastic measures. Let me be more specific. He's implementing his system in a hurry because he believes he can. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, you're pretty much right. But then again, as I was speaking, that you and Bobby both said that the issues lie much more deeper and above those matches and the manager, and that is what I want to actually talk about, which I have been talking for maybe a year or two now, uh, and have been critical about it for quite a while now. And that is, I just want to give this analogy like about Liam Rosenior. He is not free of any criticism. He is making really, really poor choices and decisions, which he should be criticized for. But then again, don't you feel like, criticizing him and saying him that you should not do that and why are you doing that is like asking a child who's riding a bicycle for the first time, learning a bicycle, that you should not fall. Why are you falling? I think it is that I would perfectly fit that analogy with Liam Rosenior. I think the problem is with the sporting directors. I think the problem is with the hierarchy who have built this squad and who have taken decisions like hiring a manager like him. No doubt he's a very talented manager, but that is a step too big for him at this current time. He should not be at a big club like Chelsea Football Club at any case in his career. It feels like he is like jumped 5 or 10 years maybe ahead to the step that he is currently taking. So that is my problem. I think we do not discuss the main culprits or the main people who are behind the structural and foundational issues that we are seeing around this squad and even the manager and the whole thing about the club. And there is the sporting directors. I think they deserve a lot of criticism. I think they deserve a lot of talking, a lot of airtime, but that is something that I am not happy with a lot of people. That they are someone who would be skid or would glide behind the main issues, and the problem will be, or the talking points are mostly the players and the manager, which I think, yeah, they are making the faults, they are making the mistakes, but I don't think that it's their fault. Liam Rosenior will take the job because it is a big step. Who will not? The players, the young players, will take a contract at such a big club
Who wouldn't
because
want to
that is a
take the
big thing
risk,
for them. And
irrespective of what happens? He polishes the resume, and you can, and irrespective of how we see it, his start to life as Chelsea manager, as bad as we see it from the fans' perspective, yeah, because we had issues before he joined. Uh if you sack him now, I don't think it'd be a bad adventure for him.
exactly, his resume has been improved for sure. I think
Yeah,
he has been exposed to the media, to the limelight, and a lot of other things as well. So I don't think he will have any problem at all in his coaching career. But yeah, the problem is we cannot sack him. A lot of people are asking for the sack, but because this is a vicious cycle, people are not realizing we are in a constant loop of hiring and firing, selling players, buying players, finishing in certain position for the Champions League, celebrating it, and then we are back again in a race where we should not be. You said that we are going to challenge for the title next year. A lot of people, even not even you, a lot of people give me, statements like this,
I still
and I
believe
have been
that as long
hearing.
as we do what we need to do in the summer.
Again, yeah, obviously, ifs and buts are there. Obviously, we can all say that it depends on the summer, but what can you say about the summer with the sporting director? There is a history in the last few windows. So taking into context how they have performed and how they did their business in those windows, I do not feel any confidence that we are going to do something remarkable in the summer window that is going to make us title challenger at all. That is because, not because I hate the sporting director, but because their track record in the last few windows has been horrible, especially the last summer window. And that is where my issue is. Now, again, this is a very repetitive topic about the sporting directors. It's kind of boring and jarring as well because it does not lead us to any, instant solution. But I'm sorry, that is main problem. That is the root cause of all the stuff that we are seeing right now. And I do not see that permanent solution or a simple solution
And that's the reason
can.
I refuse to blame the manager. I don't think I've seen anything that I'd say would justify his firing should we decide to, and I don't think they do that now. Even though I think he's made a few mistakes, he's been naive on occasions, and he's proven also to be a good, you could say, a good tactical mind. Is he inexperienced, like you mentioned, Jay? Yeah, and do I think he's still been learning a lot about his players up close? Yeah, because sometimes you feel like in your presence that a child wouldn't do certain things, but when you get there, the child does it. then you'd learn that it was never because you weren't there. Then you'd learn
Yeah.
not to give them space to make such mistake again. So I think let's wait and see. I think we'll find out very quickly whether he learns from his mistakes or not. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, but that is the main topic, the jarring and boring topic about the sporting directors. But the unfortunate cases, we have to talk about the match because that is the way it has to go. Because that is where we can actually pinpoint and find some solution on which we can work, so we can improve in the current and maybe get some points or results in the next few matches. Look, some of the things that he was doing, like there is no answer. Why Andre Santos is not starting? Why Jorel Hato, who has been performing so good, is not given a chance? Despite the fact that Cucurella should have been rested, not because he is behind Hato or because his form is not as good as Hato, just as simple as fact that she should be rested for the PSG game, and that is a very good opportunity for Hato to play this game because he is performing really good
Maybe the
in
plan
all
is
the
to play him
opportunities.
against PSG. I don't know. But you could argue also had Pato had he been on the pitch, Hato, I think he would have caught up with what's the guy that crossed the ball, that squared the ball to Anthony. I think he would have caught up to
Um,
him, and I think he's
y-
better at orchestrating slight tackles than James. But yeah,
yeah,
we're still
surely
giving the
he
answer
would
in that.
be. He would have been an extra body for sure, in and around that tackle or that shot, or that whole move. So yeah, these are the questions about Santos, about the obsession with Reese in the midfield. It can be understood to some degree why you are starting him against PSG, but then again against Newcastle. And look, Santos has performed like 4 or 5 times under Rosenior, and he had 4 good games, and then he has one bad game, and he's nowhere to be seen. So I don't understand some of the decisions that Rosenior is making, and even if you try to find some logic to some of these decisions, you can't really find, and you have to put it down to the inexperience or the pressure that he's facing. And it looks like yes, these are the decisions that has been altered by the pressure that he might be feeling by the fans or the occasion of this big club, which is something that we all expected to happen because we all were talking that he's looking good, he's talking really nice in the media, but then again, there will be a period when things will not go your way, and that is where we will see how good of a manager you are. And unfortunately, things are not looking good. All the things that I was worried about, it looks like they are happening with him right now. And the next game is against PSG, where we need 4 goals to win the game. Doesn't look like that this game would be the one where the turnaround will happen with him, the squad, or with the mood of the fans. So yeah, let's see what happens.
I think we'll see Sa and Hato on that day. Those two players. But Dante, I want us to talk about here. What I want us to talk about right now is how do we cope with this defensive line? Because I've said this before. If you can go, you can say, take a step back and look at all the games we've lost since the start of the season. I think even without looking at them myself, I'd argue that nearly 70% plus at least of them were down to us having a bad defensive line.
Yeah, I think awareness. Yes, definitely. The defenders, like I said, I think that at the end of the game, there they were tiring. The gaps were getting bigger, and I don't think they were quite following instructions properly, to be honest. So look, that's where Rosenior needs to make a call. You just got to substitute those players off sometimes if they're tiring. I heard about Fofana, how he's not fast enough to get back. He's probably one of our fastest defenders, so he's quite fast to get back.
So that begs the question, what was he doing? Because he was basically jogging back, didn't read the game
He was
well.
tired. Yes, he was tired because he did a couple of sprints just before that. And the problem is, I don't know, people might not like this, but he is fasting. He's the only player in our team
Ooh,
that was
it's
fasting.
Ramadan.
Correct. Yes. Now,
I
I
wouldn't
don't have
start
an
him.
issue with that, but I
I don't have
I
an
think
issue with
that
him with that, but I wouldn't start him.
exactly, yes. So
We've had
Rosenior needs,
situations where Kante, of all people, played badly.
yes,
I'd
exactly. And
rather
you
not
saw
start him. Yeah.
they've even put in a break for the players that, like that, but there was only 2 players out, Fofana and another one from the other team, so, I can see him puffing a bit more, and you can see me, he went down to his knee a couple of times as well. Now, just don't he should not be playing then if he can't handle it, he should not be playing, so, you put that down to Rosenior, well, you have to because he still played him, so I think that was a little bit of an issue, to be honest, on the day because I saw him. I've never seen him go down to his knees twice before. I'm not sure was he praying or was he just getting his breath back, but he did seem a little bit, overworked because he's not getting what he needs the proper, nutrition, the proper fluids. So yeah, I think that was a problem. You don't play players like that on those days, unfortunately. If it's their religion, that's fine. I respect it. It's not a problem, but that will affect your performance as an athlete. It just will. So to me, that was an issue, unfortunately. So uh, like people might not like it. I'll bring it up, but it is an issue. So
Yeah, I think it
yeah,
makes sense now why he was jogging up to me, but I wouldn't have started him if I was
exactly. Yes.
if I were the
Yes.
manager and I knew that he was fasting. Why start him?
Look, defenders can get away with it normally, central defenders, but not the way he plays because he likes to sprint a lot and run a lot. And, the way we play as well with the higher line, you're going to get the other way. So, yeah, he did a couple of really big sprints right before that as well. So, yes, that was an issue. He just didn't have any more left to, catch up. So, unfortunately, so look, it can happen in a game, but I think that had a bit of an influence in it, in my opinion. Like I said, I haven't seen him go down before like that to his knee, breathing, a bit heavily. So yeah, that definitely had an issue. So yeah, look, it is a problem. I think that was probably senior playing him. I don't think you should have played him, to be honest. But then again, look, you have to play Buddy Shield or Achimpong was available. So Buddy Shield or Tosin. Now, with a high line, the way Newcastle played, those two will get exposed as well, pretty badly as well. So because they haven't got that pace, unfortunately. So yeah, look, like you said, Hato. Yeah, I would have just played Hato, especially against the
I
high
would
line,
have. Yeah.
like that. He's got the speed, the recovery pace, etc. Yes, play Hato in that situation. But look, we're just talking about. It's hard to say. We don't see training stuff that's going on, the game plan, tactics. So look, there might be reasons why he didn't start that game as well, and he did play a lot of football as well. So maybe, you know, uh, might be one of those calls as well. But yeah, look, it's hard. We'll see what happens against PSG, but it's going to be pretty hard to stop them. Probably on the break getting away because of the way we need to play and how many goals we need to score. So it
I
will be
think
difficult.
we'll see Hatter on that day.
I hope we do because of that, because of the
Mhm.
speed.
The
I think
recovery
that'll be
pace and
very important.
everything, and even Sai wouldn't mind Sai on that day. Sai also fast,
He's okay, not in a highline, coach. I don't think in a highline he would do that well, to
but
be
Sai
honest.
also should be fasting. He's Muslim, right?
Yes, he's Muslim as well. Yes, yes. So he would be, yeah. He didn't play probably. He's much younger, obviously, than Fafana. Different type, very slender, very thin. So yeah, look, and young. So that will affect you even more at that age. So, but yeah, I think that was definitely an issue with Fofana, in my opinion, in that game. Like I said, I haven't seen him a couple of times go down to his knee, grasping like that for air. Even though he was putting good effort, he still was making sprints and he still was doing well. But when he needed it most on that occasion, because he did 2 big sprints before that, he didn't have it in him anymore because of that. So it is what it is, unfortunately. So yeah, sometimes those little calls, those little tiny details at the top level is what it makes a big difference
Listen,
because
I'm just gonna go back to saying if I were the manager, I wouldn't have started him. I have nothing against that. I've lived.
neither would I. No,
I grew
that's
up
why
in
I brought
northern
it up because of
Nigeria
that,
before moving
and
to
I
where I
continue.
am
Yeah,
right now. I've seen people how you could say, yeah, I don't. Would it be accurate to say it can be draining? Christians do fast too. So if you understand what fasting is, you'd know how energy draining it can be. It's more
but they
like
don't fast
you.
the same as Muslim. They don't fast the same.
It depends on the church you're talking about. My mom goes to one that's their thing. Like
Okay, maybe I don't
sometimes
know, but yeah,
she
the
say,
ones I know,
mhm.
the ones I know and stuff like
No, the
I'm Orthodox.
Pentecostals don't.
I'm an
But
Orthodox
we
Christian.
in
My family
Nigeria
Orthodox.
they
So
have like white garment churches where fasting is
yeah,
their
yeah,
thing.
that's the more full on. Yeah, they can be the ones
Exactly.
that are a bit full on.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
fasting is
the
their thing.
Muslims,
It's like on
yeah,
daily basis. Yeah.
yeah, they have that where they can't drink or eat anything or whatever it is before the sun. That's not usually the Christian. No, you can drink, you can do anything. So, but for a professional athlete, it makes a big difference. And you brought up Kante. Kante struggled every time that Ramadan was on. He always struggled. I remember as well.
No, I
So
remember those times. Yeah.
yeah, and he didn't play a couple of games usually when that time was
I
around
think
as
one
well.
occasion it was Rudiger that struggled a lot more.
Yes, and Rudiger, correct. So yeah, it is an issue, unfortunately. And at that top level, the little tiny bit of a detail like that can make a difference.
But we're not making
So
excuses here. Let's just be clear.
not making excuses, but
We're just
from what I saw,
analyzing
from
the
what
you
I've
could say
observed,
that situation where I felt like he was jogging back, and even though Anthony,
yeah, he was spent, coach.
who was like 10 miles behind him, ran past him. I couldn't believe that, and
Yeah,
that
he was
really,
spent. He was finished.
yeah.
I looked at it carefully. It was because of the sprints before. He couldn't do it anyway. But that wasn't the issue really. It was an issue, but the other issue was James not tracking his man and Shalaba
Not
being
reading. You could say he wasn't fully aware of his surroundings.
and Shalaba as well. That's his side
Yeah.
as well. Shalaba
Mhm.
got caught in no man's land again, unfortunately. So there was a few defensive issues there, not just for Fana, to be honest.
I mean, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up. I'll come back to you. I'd like us to talk about whether Rosenior, for me, I think he should go back to the basics, simplify things. Don't change too much from how Maresca used to play. But I think he's doing that now, and he's doing that in a drastic manner. You could argue that to some extent uh, has proven to be problematic. I like the verticality. That alone, not much of an issue, in my opinion. But let's see. Chelsea should work on their midfield and defenders. Still, they should. Okay, they should learn to shoot the ball from outside the 18 box. Okay, we can have reflection, but I get it. That leads to go. I'm not a sinner. All right, let's see who. You ask Mod Mana. Can you ask Mod Mana that question? Let's hear what it tells you. Liam Rosina, let's see what else we have here. Guys, Graham Potter 2.0, the boys gave everything is back. I disagree. I know you've been going at it on X. I sincerely disagree. I think he's more tactic. You could say tactically he's better than Graham Potter. Yeah, in my opinion. Has Graham Potter played in Europe? Has he taken the team to Europe before? Or achieve a European place with the team? Probably
Okay.
because I heard he coached the team where he won everything, right? So maybe he got a chance to. But no, I think you just like as I said before, as I told you on X, I think you never liked him.
Obviously,
Yeah,
Tobago
you
is
never liked him. You just pretended you liked him, and you
yeah.
just felt like okay, you just had to support him because the
Tobago
reason
is coach. Sorry,
I felt that like you never liked Rosenior Tobago. If you're listening, is that every time something happens, even without trigger, you start mentioning Maresca, and you didn't love
yeah.
Maresca as much as I love him. You were one of those. You and Maya were one of those always slating Maresca.
At the start, yeah.
At the start, yeah. At the start, you were slating him, but later you started showing love to him. Move
Yeah.
on from him. He's your ex now.
That's the problem with Tobago. He can't let go, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you don't love Maresca more than I do. The reason I despise hearing his name now is the fact that he was still working for us and started talking to Man City and even had the gut to tell our hierarchy.
Yeah.
What if I was in charge? I'd let him go too. But he wasn't let go. He walked. Probably they told him, if that's what you want to do, we're not doing that. If you can guarantee you're staying, you're better off leaving. But I don't. The truth remains. I know some of us believe he walked I don't think he was that straightforward. I think they were trying probably to find a way for him to continue. Maybe he wants, you can say, the sort of condition where he continues to work as Chelsea manager. But once that opportunity comes around, it'd be by Felicia. But I don't think it'd be soon because Pep would want to leave on a high, and it doesn't look like this will be the season. All right, let's see. My boss having a conversation there. I'm not reading this one. You've spammed the community with that one enough. Brianni, how are you? But nice to see you, bro. Always repping. I appreciate you finding the time to join the conversation. Better. I'm gonna say this. In a bit. I'll highlight this comment. I'll come back to it. As much as I loved Maresca, as much as I'd say that, yeah, he wasn't a one-trick pony like a lot of people were saying at the time. We were telling people, no, he's not one-trick pony. There are things you don't pay attention to the way he approaches the game. I get it. The inverted fullback approach, where he wants his team to be able to overload areas at any given time and ensure we have numerical advantage over the opposition at any given time, anytime we have the ball. There are still aspects of his game that was very, very predictable. But Leon Rosenior, for me, I think his system is more fluid. Is not as rigid as that of Enzo Maresca. That's not me going to the measure of saying one of them is better than the other, but I know how they differ. More vertical approach, if you prefer, or more vertical passes under Rosenior. More risk taken by Rosenior. Maresca, more balanced approach, which a lot of people hated. They call it just playing around for the sake of it. A lot of people that don't understand how controlling games work. So I know how they differ, and I'm not gonna pick one. But if you force me to pick one, I'll pick Rosenior with the hopes that, yeah, he starts being a lot more pragmatic, because if he can develop a pragmatic mindset, even to, you can say, by 20%, I think he'd do a lot better than he's doing right now. But arrogance might be his biggest enemy, for lack of a more relatable term.
And let's not forget, Coach, Maresca struggled under low blocks a lot, and that's something Tobago.
Toko did. It's nothing new at Chelsea.
But that's
and every team does.
Always at Maresca, that he's a coward, that he's not attacking enough, that it's too defensive. Well, then Rosenior comes in now, and he's too open. It's too offensive sometimes.
Which we knew that was going to be the case. We will lose a lot of games, a lot more games under Rosenior, but we'll win a lot more.
Especially against most of the lower opposition, correct?
Yeah,
yes.
Because he risks a lot.
Yes, so against lower opposition, we'll win more. Against the better teams, sometimes I think you'll get results like we saw against PSG and Newcastle. So, yeah, look, it's a bit of that. Just forget Maresca. He's gone, unfortunately, and concentrate on these players and this manager.
No, he doesn't.
It is what it is. It's not the end of the world, though. We just lost 1-0. It's not the end of the world. It can happen. It's a long Premier League season. And it's not like they completely dominated us. Did Newcastle dominate us and overplayed us? No, they did not. So it's not quite the end of the world. It's not doom and gloom like everyone says it is, because we still, probably shouldn't have lost that game, to be honest. Newcastle had 2 chances in the whole game. They scored 1 goal. So
that is where I differ. I would agree with everything that Dante said. The last part, I don't agree. I don't think that Newcastle needed to play any other way. I don't think that Newcastle needed to play any other way. It's on us more that they just had 2 chances and they went away with 3 points. It's more embarrassing rather than anything to be proud about. If an away team, I think that is the perfect formula for an away team who wants to take 3 points from Chelsea, and they did exactly that. So, and yeah, it is very, very much close to doom and gloom, because that puts a very heavy dent in our UCL ambitions, because we are in a race and we all know the importance of UCL qualification. So it is quite, justified to be doom and gloom.
The season's not finished. There's still points to be grabbed. Teams have to play each other, other teams as well. They're not going to get all of them points. Tell me at the end of the season.
Dante, mathematically, it's not finished. It's never finished mathematically.
Not finished yet. I don't like this mentality where people are giving up already and saying, "Oh, it's over. That's it. Let's back it up." No, the season's not
Jay
finished.
hasn't said it's over. Jay's saying, I think Jay's emphasizing. You can say people have every right to be concerned.
Yeah, you cannot.
You guys are basically saying the same thing.
You cannot home to Newcastle when you're in such a crucial top 6 fight, because that is your most secured 3 points, or should have been your most secured three
How is
points.
that a
And
secured
that is
3
what.
points?
Why not? If at home we are not expected to win, then where would be
No,
really hoping to
Jay,
win? Is
here's
it
something I want to
Anfield
say
away,
quickly.
or
Jay,
is it
if we
against
look at
Manchester City?
games, Jay, if we look at games and say that's a secured 3 points, maybe that's the reason why we didn't do enough to win. If we go into game with the mindset that we need to work hard to win it, I get it. You're speaking from a fan's perspective. If the players adopt the same mindset, then that's dangerous.
It's Newcastle. They're not a bad team. They're not a bad.
Hold on. I'm saying something else here to give and just responding to what
I
Jay
know what
said.
you mean. Yeah, coach. Go.
Jay, do you get my point, Jay?
To some extent, yeah. But again,
Yeah.
a Big Six
So
club
my point
against.
is, it's a dangerous mindset to assume that something you haven't worked for is already yours. And in football, that's the most dangerous way. So you can say a type of mindset to go into the game with, which I've always tried to explain that that's partly the reason why we have what we call charity FC, feeling like we've already won a game.
I
And I
mean,
don't
that
know
is
how
more
else
on
to
the
see it
players.
because it only happens when we play against these teams that struggle, even the ones that don't defend deep. We seem to find it difficult to play against them. But go ahead, Jay.
I mean, that theory is more on the players rather than the fans. The fans are always going to expect 3 points against Newcastle at home. If you are a Big Six club and you're playing someone outside the Big Six, then at home you are expected to win the 3 points. That is the mindset of the fans. That is always going to be the mindset of the fans. If the players are thinking in that way, that is where the issue is. And I totally agree that if the players are thinking like that, and that could be, I'm sure they must be thinking to some degrees like that, because the mindset and the mentality part which we see on the pitch does reflect that they are pretty much overconfident in few of these matches. But yeah, again, the point that
Yeah, it gets worse
this
in those games where usually the first 15, 20 minutes or the whole first half, you see how we play and you see it's too easy, then the second half we capitulate. So it's a
exactly.
dangerous mindset when you go into games with the mindset you've already won this. But I know you didn't mean it that way. I just wanted to make that point. Go ahead, Jay.
No, no, my point is about the heavy blow that this defeat puts it, or the pain of this defeat is on
It makes
Chelsea.
it very
You
difficult.
literally performed such an amazing performance at Villa away, 4-1 victory. You literally got yourself back in the title, sorry, not title race, in the top 4 or 5 race. And then you perform like that at home against Newcastle. You're not only neutralizing, you are just, pushing yourself
Can I ask you,
far
Jay, quickly?
behind the
Is there any
race.
Yeah,
chance
but
that drops to
don't forget,
four?
there's other factors as well.
Jay,
Sorry?
is there any
Yeah.
chance that drops to 4?
I don't think, because the second number team is Italy, right? So there is no Italian team, and for the Spanish teams, that is La Liga team, to jump from third to first, it will take something really drastic. I think even a Real Madrid and Barcelona final cannot give them that enough
Yeah, and
leverage that they can
Arsenal
jump.
on the other side, if they get to the semi, basically, which they probably should, then pretty much secures it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think that would be the factor, but yeah, I mean, you understand, right? That you you are letting other people's results now decide what will be our future for the Champions League. Because let's be honest, we are not going to win every game from now on to the rest of the season till the very end. We're not going to win every game, so we are going to lose. And if we are going to lose, then you are giving advantage to the other teams. You are putting our destiny in their hands. So that is why the doom and gloom, or the sad part, or the angry part for the fans come. You cannot be at any point, especially when you are in such a crucial or such a close knit race like we are in with United, Villa, and
Yeah,
Liverpool. You cannot be happy or okay with a defeat. It is going
I
to be
agree with
doom
that,
and
Jay,
gloom.
but to say the season's finished and wrap it up and that's not accurate, to be honest, because it is not. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the top 5 race. The season's not finished just because of this game. After we traveled to PSG and had a big, away European tie there, and came back, Newcastle didn't have to go. They were at home against Barcelona, so
Yeah.
it's
Okay, yeah,
not
I agree. That season
it's
is
not
not
the
finished,
end of.
obviously, because Liverpool will do something similar like us, because they have been doing foolish shit like we are doing. So it's never end to the race or end to the season for sure. but you can understand the angry part, right?
I can understand the frustration, and that I was frustrated. We're all frustrated, but it's the finished season is not finished, and I see a majority of the fans saying, "Oh, season's finished. Wrap it up now. Fire Rosenior. Let's do protest." It's not finished. Wait till where we finished. I think we've seen the last couple of seasons, especially last season. The season's never finished till the end, basically. So even last season we had this. People were doing exactly the same thing last season. And what happened? We finished very strongly. We finished clearly 3 points ahead in the top, to get Champions League. So it's not finished yet. Other teams, might have some bumps on the way as well, not just us. So wait till the end of the season to say, to have that doom and gloom that the season's finished. It's not season finished. We're still in a quarterfinal with the favorable matchup as well against, in the FA Cup. So we still got another cup to play for as well. PSG one might be over, but we're still in it technically, but that's probably over. But the season is not finished. Usually we do well at the end of the seasons. The last 7-8 games, we've shown that we've done pretty well recently in the last, couple of years. So let's wait and see. But to say the season's finished, wrap it up, I'm sorry, I can't accept that. And that's a really bad mentality to have from a lot of our fans, unfortunately. Giving up now. You should never
Here's the
give up
thing.
till the end.
We all see things differently. I know it's going to be very, very difficult, even more difficult than it was yesterday, last season.
And when are we at our best usually, coach? Usually when it's
No,
really
I
difficult.
understand that point. Listen, you're entitled to feel like we can actually make it, and I'm entitled to say it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying we cannot, because mathematically it's possible. The same way when we had that conversation whether we're capable of winning the league this season or not. I think was it Vance that said we can win it. He's telling us we can win it, right?
Yeah, we knew that's not going to happen this
No,
season.
but what was that, Vance?
I think so, yes.
It was Vance, and we told him it's not possible.
Bums. It was bums.
So, So listen, I like to be as objective as possible. I'm a human being. Sometimes maybe subconsciously something will drive my opinion, and I'll be, you can say, biased without knowing. But in this case, I'm still being objective by saying it's still possible. And when it's
3
just
points, coach. We're 3 points away from
when
that.
it's still just a possibility, it means that it could that at the end of the day it might still not happen. And it's
Of course,
more
there's a
difficult
chance.
now. And losing against Newcastle simply means it's going to be more difficult.
It's more difficult, and it doesn't help. I agree.
It doesn't
but
help, exactly. Which is the point I think Jay was making.
But we're 3 points from that position. We're 3 points away. Tell me that is not achievable to catch
Which
up.
means it's very. Did I ever say it's not achievable? I'm just saying it's difficult.
No, I know your mentality. I know how you say and what you think. But I'm just saying.
But again, you need
points.
to take into context what we are going to face the remaining matches as well. Out of the
Jay, are
8
you
or
saying
7
it's not
matches,
possible, Jay?
technically it's possible, but that is not something that you are going to be very confident, about, because we are going
Jay,
to
are we going to be in the
face
Champions League like the other and the European Cups like some of the other teams? They're going to have to play a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I expect Villa to be the one to collapse, and that is where my confidence is. I don't think United is going to, because they're playing 1 game in 10 days, so they are pretty much in there. Liverpool, I think their squad quality, will prevail, and they will also get. It's Villa where I think that Unai Emery might just prioritize Europa League, because that is more realistic chance for them to get into the Champions League. So I think that is the scope where maybe we can get it. But again, the context is important. We are going to play United, we are going to play City, we are going to play Liverpool away, and we are also going to play the last game at Sunderland away. Sunderland has not lost. I think they have lost 1 or 2 maximum game at their home ground.
That's the sort of team I don't fear, Jay. But this is just my opinion. That's the sort of team that I don't fear. But go ahead, what you were saying, Jay.
The point is, Liverpool, Aston Villa are still in Europe. They're going to be in Europe after, so that's going to help us quite a bit, because they have to play an extra game every week. They're going to have a lot of load. So yes, it's going to help us. That's what I mean. It's the season is not finished. It's not doom and gloom. We're 3 points behind Man United and Aston Villa. So it's not that big of a gap to close down, to be honest. It's 1 game. So the season is still up for grabs. not even close to being finished. And
It's
when,
still,
like I said,
it's still, let's put it this way. It's still there. It's not guaranteed.
yeah,
Exactly.
100%. Of course, it's not
It could still,
guaranteed. I'm not saying
things
we're
could
going to
still
do
go
it.
down south for us.
It could go down south. It could get worse. Correct.
Yeah,
But to
exactly.
say that it's finished now and it's over, I'm sorry. It shouldn't be that way. Fans should be backing this team more now, and trying to help. Even at the game yesterday, from the start of the game, the fans were horrible. It was so quiet. Even when we were attacking, they started booing early. Like, come on, there's not much support, unfortunately, for the team, the players, the manager. Did you hear the stuff they were yelling at Rosenior at halftime and at the players? There's people put some videos up how disgusting language they were yelling at Rosenior, and again, it looks like the
Something they
fans
did to
don't learn. It was
Maresca,
only 1-0
and
down.
here's the funny thing: the same thing they did to Maresca, and when he was fired, all of a sudden everybody became nice to
They
him.
loved Maresca, yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
they loved him, but they
Yeah.
were booing him, calling him names, singing that you don't know what you're doing. But the moment he was fired, even those that were clearly if you know them on X,
Oh, of
they
course.
were on him. They want him to be fired like in 2020. You can say 2019, even
Yeah.
before he was hired.
Yep.
But the moment he was fired, they became the nicest people I've ever known. Everything they were saying, they were questioning the hierarchy's decision to have not and actually he wasn't fired according to what we know. I know it's a bit more nuanced than what we know, or it's not as straight as a lot of people make it out to be. He didn't really work, but he at the same time he wasn't really sacked. I think mutual consent is it's a language that's not straightforward, not that specific in my opinion. So that's how they are. Now I think he's gonna shock them as long as he's given time. Because in my opinion, whatever is happening now, and I'm saying this, he's made mistakes, but he's also proven that he has it in him tactically. He's made mistakes just like Maresca made in his early days as Chelsea manager.
Yeah,
He's
and
going
don't
to find
forget,
his
5 weeks ago they were praising Rosenior. He's the man to lead us
He
forward.
was actually
Finally,
a contender for the manager of the month, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And they were like the same ones were saying, he's the man to take us forward. All right, let's forget Maresca. He's the one. And all of a sudden, a couple of bad results, and it's the end of the world. So,
But
yeah,
here's
look,
one thing
I
I'm going to say.
understand.
I know you read that online. Unfortunately for him, that decision to drop Robert Sanchez, Enfield, Philip Jorgensen, a lot of Chelsea fans, that's it. Until he pulls off something out of the hat, whatever that may be, I've said that before, I don't know.
Well, what I heard, what they were chanting and what they were yelling at him yesterday at halftime. Well, yeah, that's that you think it's they're all over him, but like I said, our fans are just very emotional, and I understand emotions fine, but just relax, step back, look at context. Yes, it was a bad loss. The season is not over. It's not finished. It's not the end of the world. Unfortunately, people say that's it. Fire him, wrap it up. The season's finished. We can't make top 5. We're not winning no trophy. Well, we're still in the FA Cup. We have a really good chance there, I think, and we're 3 points behind the other teams in the in the league. It's not even close to being finished. So I think when players, managers, when they need more support, it looks like they get the less support, unfortunately. And our fan base, I think, is really, really bad. Unfortunately, it just doesn't help.
I'm not saying you could say we're in the best of form right now, but it just seems like majority of our fans are fair weather fans. That's just my opinion.
Very much fair weather fans.
Yeah, I'm not happy with what's going on. But at the same time, I don't think we know how to be the 12th man. A lot of
no
our
idea,
fans,
coach.
unfortunately,
Like I said, watch that game yesterday and listen to just the crowd from the start. It was so quiet. They weren't, even when we were creating those chances, and we were all over Newcastle. They hardly did anything in that first half till they got the goal, basically. So it was just moans and groans, quiet. You only heard the Newcastle fans chanting. You didn't hear the Chelsea fans chanting at all. It was all Newcastle fans. Even their team was getting battered, not battered, but dominated. The Newcastle fans were still chanting while ours were quiet and moaning and groaning, and just And then at halftime, obviously, when the goal went in, it was only boos at halftime, and even after, it was only boos and yelling profanities at the players and coach.
all right. Let's talk
Yeah.
about this. This
I'm upset more about that than actually, losing, to be honest, because there's no support there for those guys. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad. There should be support, a bit more support at home like that, especially in a small stadium like that. Yeah, you hear it. You hear absolutely everything. And I can tell you now, the players, the manager, they hear it.
All right. This guy says, what about Ramadan Benzema? Here's the thing. Yeah, you could argue, yeah, he's the exception. You said it well. And what should I use as an analogy here?
He's a striker, though, coach. He didn't run at the
Eh,
front. He didn't need to
if
do any work.
if just beyond that, let's just talk about something else. You can say people deal with situations differently.
Exactly. Yeah.
People deal with some again. For me, if I tell you, if I fast all the time that I don't want to eat, maybe I'll be performing miracles. I don't know how to, but some people will you can say on that 8 hours or 6 hours, or if they don't eat, they'll start having a headache.
Yeah.
I don't want to start
100%.
discussing how long I can go. Sometimes, especially if I'm on the computer, even without eating, without remembering actually that until I get up. That's when I remember my system probably realizes, okay, you need to go eat now. So it's different. We're not the same.
And coach doesn't run 100 kilometers a week.
That's a fact. But I mean that analogy helps. By the way, let's see. Vicky says, let's see what he has to say. Ramadan Benzema is a great example. No, we can.
Where's Ramadan Benzema? Where he's talking about for Real Madrid up front, where he doesn't need to
when
run
he
it.
at
He
the
didn't
time
run
when
at
even when he fasts. Again, people are saying he does a lot better when he fasts, and I think you say the records are there to prove that. But here's the thing: I don't want to bust. I don't want to start arguing with you on this. You know exactly what you're doing. They train for endurance doesn't mean if you're hungry, everybody you could say performs at the same level.
It's the fluids, coach, more than the food. It's the fluids.
Yeah,
as well.
and they're not the same.
Yeah, that's where it's important. Yeah,
and then people, you can say, we all deal with situations in you can say differently, more importantly, bear that in mind. So whatever you want to do with Ramadan Benzema, you go ahead, do it with it. All right, I'm gonna scroll to the very bottom. We have 77 comments, and Dan, nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. I did read one of your comments. You said, "Come down, coach. This team is a failure," or something to that effect. I'm not here to praise the team. I'm here to talk about the match, and I haven't praised the team. I talked about us. We talked about us needing a defender and some signings for the left-hand side. We talked about that. So, but you joined late. This says, okay, I'm just gonna scroll to the very bottom. There's just too much, and I've said hello to Brianna Yahayu. I can't read everything in the chat there. Okay, let's talk about this, Dante. Let's see anything else to read here.
Yeah, and let me just call out Vic because he's calling me out in the chat there. Let me call him out. Him saying that we had more, they had more shots on target than us. Go look at the stats and rinse your mouth out.
They had more shots on target than us?
No, we had more shots on target than them. So go look at the stats.
Who said they had more than us?
Vic, he's saying that I'm talking rubbish. So maybe go look at the stats, Vic.
Was it Vic that I think it was Dan that said they had more shots than us?
I know Vic brought it up as well.
No, they didn't have more shots than us. And
we hit the post as well, which doesn't count. And
so they they finished with a better, slightly better xG. That's they finished with 0.02 higher than us. Okay, total shots is 7 shots, us 22 shots. Big chances 2 for us, 1 for them. Where's the full stats?
Well, even 22-7 should tell you quite a lot already anyway.
But detailed stat could tell who's, but where is it? I just want to see it. All stats, let's see. Okay, there you go. Expanded here. Shots on target 5 to theirs, 3 to ours. We just have more total shots, but they finished with more shots on target.
No,
big chances too.
On my one on the Premier League, it's got 4 shots. It's different on my one, so I don't know which one you're looking at, but
I mean, there can be discrepancies, but
It looks
yeah,
like they're
that
probably
doesn't
different.
mean.
Yeah, on my ones, we got 4, they got 3. So yeah, but obviously we've got the 22-7, and plus hitting the post. So I guess it depends which one you're looking at. But that's on mine is 4-3 and 22-7. That one's right. So I don't know why it's different, but I guess that's a
All right,
difference. Oh,
let's
you're on
go with,
football.
you can say stats don't win games, irrespective of what it was. So,
No,
but
but
yeah, let's go. Here's Dante. What I wanted to talk. I don't know if we've talked about, and if you're in the chat, if you have any questions, put it there. Again, we be happy to address your questions, and as usual, please do not ask too much questions. I thought, Vic, I'm sorry, I cannot be reading you telling people to stop waffling. You're not saying anything objective there, unfortunately. And Dan says, "Yeah, at coach, why you not reading? Why am I gonna read everything you have there? Do you know how many comments there were? 70 plus, 80
you're
plus.
special, coach.
Do you want
You
to
got to read
pull?
out Wiki Dan's
Dan, do you
comments.
want to pull a stab on me? I can't read everything there. It was 80 plus. As much as I like to interact with you, I can't read everything. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, I cannot read every comment you have there. What else do we have here? Anything else? This is Mod Mana. What Mod Mana is fighting against that.
Eh, well done, Mod
All
Banner.
right, the waffling is for you, coach. I'm gonna block you if you think I'm kidding. Dante, let's talk about this. I think how it will do Rosenior a world of good to, you could say, dial it down a bit in terms of implementing his approach. The verticality, the implementation of the verticality is good, but I think there are other aspects I feel like he needs to, you could say, tone down a bit. Otherwise, I think he end up making a lot of mistakes that could lead to him looking like he doesn't know what he's doing.
And what do you think he could have done yesterday a little bit differently?
I'm
Formation
not.
wise, you're talking about, or
This, you could say there are. We didn't play with any caution yesterday. We didn't play with a lot of caution yesterday.
I think that's because we needed to score and win the game. So I think we were pushing, quite hard to score that first goal and try to score, which is what you want to see. You want to see attacking football because that's what people complained. Maresca is not doing that. We're going to pass the ball 100 times and we're not going to do nothing basically. So side to side and back. We were actually trying to push forward and attack high line. We were really trying to go after them to try to win the game at home. That was the right approach. So, in that sense, I can't blame him in that sense. The only thing, like I did say, probably not play Fafana because of the reasons I stated. But there wasn't many other attacking options he can do, to be honest. And he actually played the formation we're more comfortable with, and the players that are more comfortable, in those. He didn't play with his usual, three at the back.
That's not just about yesterday. I think the way we applied ourselves against PSG was also overkill.
Yes, that I agree. The last 15 minutes,
Exactly,
yes,
that's the point I'm making. He's you could say he's
but not yesterday.
implementing his approach in a drastic manner, and that's a huge risk.
That is, but not yesterday, coach. We had to come back in the game, especially after they
Yesterday,
scored.
to a certain extent, I think we didn't play with any. You could say we didn't play with good balance. I would say even this.
It's hard.
Go ahead.
It's hard to say because they were in a nasty low block after they scored the rest of the game. Like I said, they didn't create hardly anything. So we tried, we pushed, we went to win the game, and that's what we had to do. We had to try to win the game.
Why didn't we have Santos on the pitch?
More attacking, coach. We're a bit more attacking because of that. And that's what I think.
You can
What he
get
went
that
at.
from Santos since he was Reece James in the middle. I get it. There are aspects of Reece James's game, that experience. You could say he offers a lot. You could say the way he switches, he operates on that right hand side, the fluidity between him and what's his name,
Yeah.
and Gusto. But
He's
it
more
works
offensive.
very well. But still, it leaves a hole in the midfield area.
It does, but he's more offensive, pushing the ball forward. The pass. Did you see like 7-8 passes into Palmer, past the press? Palmer was alone into space, and then Palmer, unfortunately, again yesterday, it took him quite a while to wake up and actually do something properly. His shooting wasn't good. but that was down to Reece James. So we're much more offensive when Reece James plays in that position than Santos, because Santos will sit there, not really do those ball breaking passes forward as much. He'll pass more sideways and back, control tempo, control the game. Well, we didn't need that yesterday. We needed to win, so it was much more offensive the way we set up. And I think, I mean, if fans are upset about us trying to win at home to be more offensive, well, then I don't know what fans want, to be honest. So,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna
against
say. I'm just
PSG,
gonna say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, against PSG in the last 15 minutes, we needed to be more defensive and then control the game, where we didn't, where we played the same. That I agree, but not yesterday. I think yesterday was fine. Aston Villa game away at Aston Villa, fine. We won. We were played that way and we ran them off and we scored 4 goals. And you know, so yeah, it didn't work yesterday, but that's also down to Newcastle going into that really nasty low block after they scored the rest of the game. Well, that was very hard for us because we don't have any other offensive players to come on. We're missing Esteval. We were missing Neto. We're missing Gittins. So basically, a couple of those players, especially that are very technical that can dribble really well against low blocks. We had no one to bring on, unfortunately. So the lap came on again. Unfortunately, he didn't quite. He got in position good. He did some really good things, but usually his strong finishing wasn't there yesterday because he had a couple of really
He
good
had an
chances to
open goal
finish.
yesterday,
Yeah,
practically.
he did everything else good, got about, but the actual finishing, which is his strength usually, it's the other way around. Well, he didn't have that yesterday, so
I think
that
he's
didn't
lacking
work
in
out either.
confidence now.
Yeah, so we didn't have many options, but he was trying to win the game. We were very offensive. We were trying to do, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's what you have to do at home when we need the points, and that's exactly what he did from the start to the end. We tried to win the game. We were very offensive.
Yeah. Let me do this quickly. All right. Danny, if you're there you go. We have your comment on the screen. I'm going to read this, and I have a question for you, Dan, before I go to Jay. This is a bunch of hypocrites. The fan base is becoming okay. They're becoming hypocrites. We laughed at Arsenal for years for calling top four a trophy. Now we are celebrating it. How low have our standards dropped? Okay. Um, one of the questions: who called top four a trophy? We debated whether we'd be able to still finish in the top four or not. So who called top four a trophy here? I want to hear you, Dan. And what would you rather fans do? Stop supporting the team? I don't know. I want to hear you because I'm confused why you've made such comments. Let's hear you.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's one of those that would stop supporting and boo, and yeah, he's one of
yeah,
those
let's
exactly.
hear you, Dan. You want every fan to join you in screaming "Blue Coal out." Go which you know is not going to be possible, and you want us to continue doing that with you you could say to compound the issues we're having. Not support the team to actually aid their efforts to achieve something, make it worse for the duration of I don't know how long the owners want to own this club, which I don't think they're not going to sell this club anytime soon. And you just want me to be one of those that believe that they're just here for profit, right? They're not going to win. Like one said to me on X, that these owners don't care. They don't care how we do on the pitch as long as they get their money. And the question I want to ask: get the money from where if the team isn't performing? Yeah. If you think they're here to flip players, flip how many players to make how much that will be enough to cover the player's salary.
Well, we just sold Reece James, coach. So
Yeah, and Reece James, and I know I was watching your show the other day. You and what's his name? You and DJ were discussing how all the players would want to leave Chelsea because we're not winning trophies. Okay, Reece James just left. And chances are Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, they could leave soon. But just answer my question, Dan. Since you're one of those that think that Chelsea sell players to make profit, that's all they do, and the owners, they're concerned about profit. Okay, what sort of sense does it make to you that that they will be able to make any sort of profit if Chelsea isn't doing well, if the club if we're not doing well? And how many players do you think they'd sell to make enough money that will cover the player's salary? Or how many players do you think they'd sell to break even, given how much they paid for the club and how much they spent on purchasing players? So any fan
Unfortunately, coach.
that comes out and says these owners, all they want is just profit. That's why they sell him. Tell that fan that fan is an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep saying that, to be honest. I mean, it's
How does
pretty
that make
clear.
sense to you? Do I think they've made mistakes? A lot of mistakes, tons of mistakes. And I think that they deserve the criticism they're getting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They deserve it. They deserve a lot of criticism. But what is this nonsense about them? The one that I told you on X that said they don't care what happens on the pitch as long as they make their money. Where are they making the money from right now?
From
The
the
intent.
loss.
They've shown intent. Have they gone about it the right way? Absolutely not. They've made a mistake. And we're talking about owners that took over when football changed from a financial perspective. We had a bloated wage bill that even under Roman, actually, there were already plans in place to reduce it. Times changed. And we tried to sign, you could say, free agents at the time. We signed a few free agents, signed somebody like Drinkwater, signed some. They made mistakes too. Even Todd Bowley, during one of
You're
the
looking too far back,
interviews he
coach. You're
granted,
not
he
going to look that far
admitted,
back.
yeah, they made mistakes. And he told the story of how he took over without knowing anything. He admitted that. He's not telling you they've been perfect. And they believe, and can we go back a bit? After we won the Club World Cup and the way we started the season, I remember one of the tweets when Fabrizio Romano, I don't know who he was quoting, that was saying everybody were laughing at Chelsea when they were spending money and the way they were going about it, signing the youngest players. Now, when a lot of people want to copy them and they're laughing at them. I'm not saying we're perfect. We have issues. At least we need to sign 2 CBs, at least 2, and pray that Colwell comes back the same and Sa shows the sort of performance he showed at Strasbourg. So sometimes you think you love Chelsea more than me. No, you don't love Chelsea more than me. And screaming blue coat out, blue coat in, blue coat out doesn't mean you love Chelsea more than anybody else. So can we learn, you can say, how to speak and speak objectively about situations? Why who you calling a bunch of hypocrites? Because yeah, we discussed top 4 and discussed how whether we're gonna be able to make it or not. So I know you're one of those that say all they care about is money, flip players. Can you tell me how that's gonna work? I'm waiting.
Well, the problem is, coach, if they keep doing the things that these supporters protest, abuse, racism towards them,
But
basically.
just quickly, Bobby isn't even Bobby.
He's
Your
not even on.
connection, Bobby. You're not even on the panel. You're telling me on mute you. Why are you
Wake up,
accusing me
Bobby! You're not on the
publicly?
panel. These owners could turn into that if you guys keep pushing that and you keep abusing them, racially, abusing them, because I've seen it, and then tell me you don't, because a lot of them I've seen it plenty of times. I've got receipts for that as well. If you keep doing this, it's not going to get better. You guys are actually going to force that to happen. And then they're going to go, well, you know what? We're getting no respect here. We're trying to do something right. Maybe we haven't got it quite right, but we're trying and we have the right intent. We're flying across the world to come to games and support the players and the team like they did last night. Bowley was there flying around the world to come watch the game and support the players and the coach. And these guys are going to go, well, you know what? Maybe they're right. Let's just sell all the superstars and let's just make money, because these guys really are showing us no respect.
I
There's
really
no
don't
support.
think they would do that because they would lose a lot. Which, yeah, but I get where you're
Coach, I'm
coming from.
just, it's just I'm just saying, you never know. You never know if it's going to get worse. They're getting death threats and they're getting stuff at their places getting painted on their walls. Like, it's getting a bit out of control. So
And just one thing I said before that, yeah, you're on the panel now. I could see you, but Bobby, you're always quick to accuse me of what I don't do.
Yeah, because
So
can you hear me now?
yeah, yes, yeah, I can hear you,
Yeah,
That's
Bobby.
funny, Bobby.
I've been talking all along.
You
You weren't even on the
disconnected.
Shut
panel.
me down.
No, you disconnected. I was looking at the screen. You disconnected. I said
You
maybe
haven't been on for a
you're
while,
done
Bobby.
for the day. And then next thing you put me on CNN. Unmute me, coach. Unmute me, coach.
Coach,
So
coach.
what I wanted to say quickly, I'll come back to you in a bit. I wanted to say quickly is this: I think we need to start speaking objectively. Um, I get it. Sometimes we have so much. A lot of us have so much anger that you could say it impedes. Not what's the language I'm looking for? It impairs our judgment that we don't speak objectively about the situation. And I've heard one person say that, coach, that some toxic positivity for always trying to speak objective. That's fine by me, as long as that person isn't cursing me out or cursing my kids out or my family out. That's fine. We all don't have to agree. I've said it. Look, I can start naming areas where I think the owners have made mistakes. But you have to pay attention to the intent. And they admitted they made mistakes. And how does it make sense to you that they don't want to do well? They don't want the team to do well on the pitch. What sort of sense does that make to you?
They
Because
wouldn't even come
without
to
doing
games,
well
coach. They
on the
wouldn't
pitch,
attend any
you will
games.
not attract big name sponsors, which brings you money too. We don't even have big enough stadium. How are they going to make the money? They're still facing the hurdle of trying to convince those that are responsible to allow them to do what they want to do. So sometimes we just speak senselessly and blame everybody else that isn't going about screaming blue coat out as not real fans. Dang it.
Yep.
Bobby, go ahead. Look at Jay saying that. And now he muted me.
Yeah, maybe.
Bobby, go ahead. You said you were saying something.
Yeah, I actually wanted to sort of respond. I know Chelsea Dan. I like the guy a lot,
No,
and
I
of
like I
course,
like him too. Yeah, no bad energy
I
there.
don't like
and of
him.
course,
I don't like him.
and of course, DJ. We go back a long way. However, I do find that I don't know. They belong to this group of fans that um, communication must always lean heavily on the negative. Even when the negative is unproven and the negative is not true, they will take any negative story and run with it. And it's just most of the time, it's not even true. And this, clear lake out sort of talk is it's not helpful. I don't really see the objectivity in it because one, it's not going to happen. Two, if it does happen, what do you think the outcome of that would be? It's very easy to destroy, but it's not
Abramovich is coming back, Bobby.
easy.
Don't you know?
Well, Abramovich, yeah, we all know that even when he was here, towards the end, he was playing the end game because his era and his type of ownership was beginning to wane. The financial regulations were circling him, and
He
if he
changed
didn't,
football.
he did change football, but I believe for the better, certainly for Chelsea Football Club. But they wanted to destroy that. And I believe if he wasn't sanctioned in the way that he was, Abramovich would have easily, I mean, he was already talking selling with Todd Bowley 4 years before Todd Bowley actually bought the club.
Yep.
We forget all this. And Abramovich would have either gone into partnership with someone like Bowley in order to increase the club's financial revenue stream or sold anyway, but just not in this panic way that he was cornered to do it and in a way that he was cornered to do it without getting any sort of profit.
Or we would
So,
have been in big, big trouble because all the rules that would be broken.
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, there's a lot of all this sentiment that it's almost as if I don't want to sound bad, but it's almost as if they can't think of anything else to say because it has no end game. It has no outcome. that is positive. I like to listen to people say, okay, if you, for want of a better word, want to get rid of Tosin, you're doing that because you know Chelsea has a chance to pick up Morella from from um, from
Strasbourg.
Forest. No, what's the Forest defender, the Brazilian that we're often
Oh,
linked with?
Murillo.
Morello, something like that. You have a replacement answer and an upgrade replacement. But this, oh, destroy, destroy, get rid of. I don't like this, get rid of him. Yeah, and then what? I don't like this, get rid of him. Yeah, and then what? This is part of the problem we find ourselves in. We're doing these things without having um, sufficient replacements and certainly not sufficient backups. Yes, we are in a problem right now, but the implosion that we put ourselves in is ridiculous. Um, I have my own opinion about what's going on at the stadium. I personally don't think it's as bad as that, but there are those that go to the stadium and are trying to express themselves negatively to the club. But it's the most irritating thing I find because those people are very easily and very often shouted down and smothered down. But what I find so annoying is this lack of vociferous support. There is a group, or rather, there's a crowd that has now got the financial ability to watch Chelsea games that are killing the atmosphere in the stadium. They're not football fans in the true sense of the word. You go to Palace, you have their ultras,
Tourists.
Crystal Palace. You go to Liverpool, they're even affected, but they still have that core, that tradition of supporting. Certainly at Everton, but Chelsea is full of what Roy Keane would call prawn sandwich fans, fans that are too busy making videos, too busy looking around. They're tourists. They're
That,
not
Prawn
I'm
fans.
sorry,
sandwich.
Bobby,
Wow,
but
I've never
that's
heard
funny,
that one
really.
before,
Go
Bobby.
ahead.
They're tourists. There was Roy Keane was saying it because Man United had a bit of the same problem and probably still do. That's what's happening at our stadium. We are not invested in these young men, and I keep stressing that. Yes, football is a family game. Absolutely. We have our family enclaves and that, absolutely. But you know who give you that atmosphere? Young men. They go there, they support, they're vocal, they're highly emotional. I'm not saying go there and be violent like the bad old days, of course not. But those days are gone. People don't go to football for those reasons anymore. Well, hardly. But that vociferous atmosphere, that atmosphere that will have a stadium rocking, it's going to come from them. And if you
12, the
smother that,
12th man kind of atmosphere.
exactly, and if you smother that like Chelsea are doing and trying to be this all inclusive, I'm not saying exclude people, but I am saying that you must encourage them. Open up the shed to what it was again. I was happy to see that now the flag waving has gone up into the shed a little bit, although it's controlled flag waving. You've got to bring that back. In, let them enjoy the game. Let them express themselves. Chelsea have smothered it such that you have this ridiculous. The other day when I went to the stadium, I have to admit, I was on the West Stand lower, which is a very sort of choice area to watch the game. You're close to the pitch, you're close to the players and everything. But honestly, one or two people beside me, in fact, my whole row, I don't want to slate people, but I would rather have not sat with them. And there was one young guy that was standing up trying to g people up and everything, and these people were
Yep.
looking at him as if he was out of his mind. Oh, almost telling him to sit down as if they're sat in a theater somewhere. That is not football. And I actually tried to go ahead with the young guy that was shouting and singing, but we stood out like a sore thumb in that row. And that is what hurts me, because Chelsea back in the day, certainly when I was growing up, was never like that. Even in the days when we got relegated and would have 10,000 in the stadium because the fans were so disillusioned. That 10,000 was a serious voice to the team. So I don't know whether how that will be fixed. As I said, the flag waving in the shed end, I think, is a good sign. But somewhere, you see, another thing that's killing the club, just before I shut up, is we have a supporters. What's the name of that supporters
Go
forum?
ahead, speak, Bobby. Go ahead.
And that supporters forum, I have no idea what they tell the club, because I tried to join it and they were busy selecting people on this their diversity nonsense, and oh, you have to believe in this, you have to believe in that, mate. I believe in the football club I've supported for decades. That should be enough. Not have to tick all these boxes, and then you have all these people sat there and they're so busy wondering, worried about, oh, what color armbands the players should be wearing, or things that have absolutely nothing to do with football and supporting the club. And so the ownership get distracted. They're not coming from a real football supporting background like Roman did. Roman understood that the club needed to be more vociferous in the stand. So what did he do? Every Champions League games, he invested in putting mini flags by the side of every single seat. So Chelsea fans had flags to wave. Things like that. He invested so much when we played the Champions League final in Moscow in getting the Russian fan base to come to the stadium and really, give some noise for the club. That sort of thing. Now, this ownership are not yet invested in the fan base. That's probably why there's a bit of a disconnect, because they're
They
not
have, Bobby.
doing.
Sorry to cut you off. They have tried that. I talked to We Are the Shed about that, and the fans refused. They didn't want to take part in it.
Who is We Are the Shed?
Well, they're the ones that one of those groups that where the flags you holding the flags up in the shed. They're the supporters group that organize all that. So
Well,
they've been
there are
trying with the
some
club.
fans. There are some fans waving flags now. I
Yeah, that's We Are
cannot.
the Shed. That's the group. They're on X. Go to X. They're on X. We Are the Shed at We Are the Shed. They're the
Yeah,
one of the main groups for Chelsea. But
I'll
the club
remember
tried to
that, and I have to
organize
congratulate
flags
them.
for everyone else, like you said, the little flags. But the rest of the fans refused. The other organizations refused it. They didn't
I
want to do
find
it because obviously we know why. They just didn't want to do it because it's Clear Lake, and even they've tried the DJ stuff. They've tried with music, and they've knocked everything back. They don't want anything modern to change.
I've heard the story too, but
I
go ahead, Bobby.
Roman, just put the flags at the side of your seat. I don't really see, you don't have to make a big song and dance about it. If it's there, the fans will use
Yeah,
it.
they wanted to make
I,
it a bit more than that. They wanted to make it a bit, like more atmosphere. But the other groups they just refused it. They said no, it's fine the way it is. We don't want any influence. We don't want no American influence. We don't want all that stuff.
No, that's ridiculous. Like the music that was being played after the goals, I saw nothing wrong with it. But that wasn't the fan base. That was the media, Sky Sports media, that
Yes,
was
media is
trying to
horrible.
attack that. The media was trying to make that look like some sort of ridiculous. Oh, why are you bringing American this and that here? Whereas that's been
No,
going
the
on for
fans,
a
yeah.
while.
They
Um,
actually canceled that a lot of that music before, during game, goals because the fans they put it like a thing. The supporters group they said we don't want that, and yeah, we had to take it
which
off.
which supporters group is
The
this?
Chelsea
Because
supporters group, the Chelsea Trust supporters
So,
group.
I don't know who those people are anymore. The Chelsea, what do they call them? Chelsea Trust or
The
whatever.
Trust, yeah.
I don't know who they are. I don't know one of them anymore. All I know is that there's a group of people that have been put together for all a lot of non-footballing reasons. They're there for nonsense. You see some of the things they're posting on X. It has nothing to do with football, and I don't
Basically,
know
Bobby,
if
they're
they're the
basically
right
saying you don't
people.
want to Americanize our game or anything modern brought in. They didn't want any change. So what are the owners going to do? Unfortunately, they can't do much.
Well, that's ridiculous, and I don't think that is the sentiment of a lot of the fans that actually go to the stadium that support the club. These other groups are not Chelsea fans. Well, they're Chelsea fans, but they're Chelsea fans in a certain type of way.
Well, it's the pitch owners,
Who
Bobby. They're very important, actually.
who in their right mind could beat down a vociferous crowd at the stadium? I don't understand that. I'm actually going to look into that because
Definitely
I
look into it.
find that totally unacceptable.
I'm surprised you
Um,
haven't seen it. It was a big issue on X. It was, yeah, a lot of the younger fans were having a go with it, but unfortunately, there's too many old fans, even though you don't probably agree with that, but the older generation fans that don't want anything like that brought into the game because it Americanizes the game, they're saying, and it takes away. They would rather sit there with their arms crossed and boo and yell when everything goes wrong, but no support. So,
well, honestly, a lot of the time, things on X, I shut down from a lot of the football.
Very toxic.
It's very ridiculous.
it
Very
is.
Even
toxic,
even
ridiculous. The other one, the one guy, I don't know why, and I've always suspected he's that sort of person. He found Obama's picture, put it side by side um, with that of Rosenior, with the title, they had
Yep.
so much in common.
Yeah.
well,
What
you
is he
know,
thinking?
And unfortunately, a lot of those people are some really important people that are on X. Some of those, like I said, the Chelsea Trust owners, the pitch owners, they're not just anyone. These guys are involved a lot, and all those old school fans are there. They feel the same way. So yeah, you're going to get your young guys or people just talking rubbish. But if you pay attention to the ones that really, that actually matter, well, they're doing the same thing. Well, and that's why it's turned into so bad, to be honest.
yeah, as I said, I will definitely look into that. There's not, there's a lot of people I don't know anymore at the club, but there are still one or two key people that influence these sort of things that definitely I'm going to ask them what the hell's going on, because that is not the Chelsea we all know and love. The issue of the pitch owners and and the move of stadium, I think the biggest drawback to that and the inability to kick back to that is because a location has not been cited. If a location has been cited vis-a-vis the very, very slim chance we still have with Earl's Court, because the people that have been given Earl's Court have found that to my understanding, that the fee is a little bit out of their reach and may need help. And this is where, if they are prepared to negotiate with Chelsea Football Club, something may still be able to be done. If that location is cited, then we can really kick off with what the hell are you doing blocking the club from moving forward. But since there's no possibility yet or any sighted location, then having that civil war is a waste of time because you're just fighting with no outcome. So something like that, I can understand why things are just a little bit dormant. But the issue of fans rejecting a vociferous crowd, I'll have to look into that. The only thing I can think of is that if the way that was sold to them was not much of a football way, then I get it. But if it was done like, look, this is your tool to increase the volume of your support, then it's madness not to take it up, really. But we'll see. We'll see. As for X, as I said, football wise, I don't really go into it much. The tone and the way the world is now, it's not what I'm used to. You have a lot of things that people believe in and people want to push that I don't think is healthy. That's just my personal opinion, and that comes into football as well.
That sorry, Bobby. I wanted to ask you where are you at with Rosenior? You concerned, or you don't see reason to be concerned at the moment? For me, none. It's just where I am, where I was last season when Maresca experienced a similar. When we experienced a similar situation under Maresca, when a lot of people were planning demonstrations. That was before we won. I think this was June, actually, a month before we won uh, the um, the
Club
Club
World
World
Cup.
Cup or so.
We
So
were fourth at that time.
yeah, so we were awful actually. But at the time, I was still telling people that he was the least of our problem. I want to ask you, Bobby, where
Hmm.
are you with him? You're concerned, or you you haven't seen a reason why we you should be concerned?
Of course, I have some concerns. Am I deeply concerned? No, because there are some things that he does which is encouraging. In recent times, he has been making some serious howlers, but that's what you do when you don't know the players at your disposal. He is trying to introduce things to these players that I think is very premature, and that has to change. The goalkeeper switch was highly suspect, but that's because I believe he didn't fully realize that the player he was bringing in to replace Robert Sanchez is actually worse than Robert Sanchez. It's one thing what you see in the training ground, but and sorry, quite another what you see, during a live game. And I think he's still, as he's admitted himself, he's still learning the players because he's coming at practically halfway through the season. One thing I've also come to learn, and this is quite enlightening to me, is that it's these managers that come into these to clubs. They don't know the club as well as the fans because they've been busy all this time focused on the clubs that they were at. All this time he's been focused on Strasbourg. Yes, he's watched one or two Chelsea games, but they don't know the detail like we do. They don't know how Philip Jorgensen is actually weaker than Sanchez because they haven't seen that match by match detail that we get to see.
And he has
um
to be occupied with the team he was coaching.
exactly. So he knows of Chelsea, but he doesn't fully know about Chelsea, and he won't get that full information until he has a preseason. So that's where my concern is. Is that going to be enough? Has he got enough about him to be wise enough not to push for too many changes and to be just pragmatic and be results focused? There's so many things. I don't understand this playing the ball sideways, backwards, forwards, and always trying to rely on your wingers to cross into the box when you're playing a low block and you don't have the tall strikers or indeed wingers to be able to head or midfielders for that matter, to head the ball when it goes into the box. So all these sort of little deficiencies is where my concern lies. Is he the right man for the job? I would like to think so because I don't really want us to be going through these changes all the time. I think that's really damaging. But he's going to need time, and you know how brutal football is, especially at a club like Chelsea. If you don't get the results, you won't get the time.
I agree. It's a result-driven business. There's no two ways about it. No other way for a club to succeed without result. There's no, you can say there's no doing things differently. There's no, you even the commercial values, everything, all driven by results. No results, no success. No results, no money. No results, no big name sponsors. It's really that simple. I don't know why. Again, for some people, it, it's complicated to understand that it just doesn't make sense. I think the owners are just here for money, and They're not. You can say they don't want the team to succeed on the pitch. What sort of sense that makes? Kuchila doesn't understand. I am, I am seriously confused as to why that's the case. And for me, the hashtag blue coat out for me, I think Dan talked about it in the chat here, is just a concept. It's just concept, no context, because it won't move a needle. They just and the time when they were planning that last that last what's it called? What did they call it again? Demonstration? What was the term? The protest. I told them they're wasting their time. That the owners are more likely to pay attention to the poll that was conducted, which showed majority of Chelsea fans not happy with the direction they're going. They're more likely to pick up that one, look at it. And so if they're open to, you could say, changing their path or direction, they do it. But painting them as clowns, disturbing the peace of the visitors at the bridge, or maybe find some non-involved match-going fans, and the day won't even move anything. If anything, it get them pissed. It will get them to double down. So, but that's by the way. I don't know anything else you guys want to talk about. I'm tired, and I want to go pay attention to the game on the screen. We should be hate watching right now. What's the score line? Anything else from you, Bobby or Dan?
No, coach. Just maybe Dan there in the chat. Maybe if you stop calling me by that name, that would be nice. Stop calling and being, doing that, because you're not really painting yourself in a very good picture. So hopefully, coach, you can ban him because of that.
I will handle that. What else do we have here? Give me 1 second here. All right, let's see. The greatest undoing of this ownership has been a lack of accountability and nepotism in hiring across the club. Wow, that's deep. But anyway, I'm tired, seriously. And if you were listening, you could hear my daughter's voice, probably because my wife not at home right now. She went out to the store, so I have to go take care of her too. I want to say thank you to the captain of the community, Constantine Dante. And of course, Bobby, for finding the time to join the conversation this morning. Our senior panelist, Bobby, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, Dan, for joining the conversation. Of course, thank you to my bro, Adebayo Makunjun, changed his name to Gratitude 1914. I appreciate you. And my sister, Chichi Eze, as saying, sorry, your daddy's girl. She doesn't always like to stay to be with me, but yeah. What else do we have here? Thank you to all of you. I think Shanks was here. Thank you to Jay. Jay also was on the panel. One of our most respected panelists, and Cam that hardly ever takes anything personally. I appreciate you. And Elijah, thank you for joining. Chichieze, my sister, I've said bye to you. And with that, we've come to the natural end of this conversation. Makin Neum, of course. If I missed your name, apologies. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge, we rise, never wrong. With every goal, we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. From Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout. but Chelsea forever will stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. From Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share. Each kickoff, each moment, it feels so rare. With faith in our hearts, we chase the dream. Through every match day, we're part of the team. The love for our club is a powerful thing. Together we shout, let the victory ring. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. We're unstoppable, hear the roar. In blue we trust forevermore. Together we sing hand in hand. But Chelsea forever will stand. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. Chelsea, the dream keeps us strong. Through every challenge we rise, never wrong. With every goal we fly, hearts on fire. The passion unites us, takes us higher. Keep on singing, support never fades. Together we stand in this blue brigade. Tonight is our night. For Chelsea we stand. Oh yeah. Blue flag flying high, fly high. From Stamford Bridge, the pride that we share.